Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to AFL NT coverage of the 23-24 TIO NTFL season from TIO Stadium here in Darwin on Larrakia country. We're here for round 4 action of the TIO NTFL Men's Premier League competition. This afternoon, Southern Districts taking on PINT. Good afternoon, my name is Nick Danks. I'm joined by my commentary partner this afternoon, Ian Butterworth. Good afternoon, Ian, how are you?
Look, I'm well, Nick, and nice to see you for the new season. We haven't got together, but nonetheless, should be a good game today. PINT, I watched them in their first game and they fell over at half time, and Southern Districts, I've seen them in the last couple of weeks. Districts struggling. They've got the big fella at full forward, Jared Brander, but by gee, they just struggle to score.
Absolutely, and PINT have survived a couple of scares in recent weeks. They've lost the one, but they've had a couple of big scalps this season. Of course, beating Premiers Waratah last week by a point at Gardens Oval, the week before, and then Nightcliff by 20 points. So they've looked pretty good, and even the game they lost, you said that they were right in that game and just missed it out after half time.
Yeah, they did. They fell away after half time, but nonetheless, I think they're slowly developing. Nakia Cockatoo, interesting that he's in. I reckon, I've been here 40 years, Nick, and I reckon if I was to choose a team of the NTFL in 40 years, Nakia's dad, Jason Cockatoo, I'd have him on a half-back flank. Southern Districts premiership player.
There's a couple of Cockatoos out there today for Southern Districts, so we'll keep an eye on those as well. Of course, one game last night, Darwin Buffs remain undefeated, so great start of the season for those guys with a 32-point win over Palmerston, who said that's the only game PINT have lost so far was against the Buffs, so they should be right in this game tonight. But Southern Districts are going to have to do something to turn around. Of course, last year's finalists only going down by a few points in the grand final and were probably the form side all year. But until we got to the final series, then Waratah came out of the blue. And it's a warm afternoon here in Darwin, 34 degrees at the moment. Going to get up a few more degrees as we get into the afternoon. Wind normally to the airport side. Pretty strong actually today. And of course, right of your screen when you're looking at it.
Yeah, looking at the flags, Nick, it's 2 or 3 goals, isn't it?
You would think so. It was a little bit less than that last week, and I reckon it was 2 goals last week, so I reckon 3 is probably the number. And it was the scoring end of the first game of the season here as well, with the wind that way. So it usually does blow to the airport side, and it's pretty strong at the moment.
Certainly is, and looking forward to the ruck duels. Connor McDonald, been pretty impressed with him. He's the new pickup for the Pointers, and of course the best ruckman in the world. I sort of call him that, Matthew Dennis. He just rolls on and on and on. Been in the NTFL for about 10 years. This is his second season out at in the rural area. Of course, started with Palmerston, so had about 8 seasons with Palmerston. Second season, he's just he's fantastic.
Absolutely, and one of the problems they have with Southern Districts in the games I've seen them is their just ability to finish goals. They do really well in the centre of the field. As you said, they've probably got the best ruckman in the competition and a very good back line. They're just not finishing off, and so they'll need to pinch a couple of early goals today because PINT are going to be hard to run down if they get in front.
Yeah, if they get anywhere near their form. Stephen Motlop's starting to work his way into it again after probably a slow start by his standards, I reckon. I mean, it's being a little bit harsh.
Yeah.
And we can see now that players just about getting set. We'll pick up Nakia Cockatoo. Where is he starting? I saw him out there in the middle earlier in the day, but it should be an absolute beauty. And looks like in the ruck for the Pointers we've got Josh McCarthy will take the first tap, and of course Matthew Dennis in ruck for Southern Districts. Southern Districts kicking with the aid of the breeze, kicking down, and we reckon 2 or 3 goals, Nick, kicking down toward the airport end here at Murray. And the ground, we must say, looks in fantastic nick.
They do a great job, the ground staff here. So your tips for today, what do you think?
Oh, look, I always change my mind if I need to in the last quarter.
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah, but look, I'm just a little bit favouring Southern Districts. I think they've got to start rocking and rolling, so I'm going for Districts. And
in their second year of the competition, I'm a big fan of PINT. Every time I've seen them play, they have impressed me. I've never walked away from a game from these guys going, yeah, that was terrible. They've looked really good, even in some tough conditions at Nightcliff in the wet last season. So I'm going to stick with PINT because I think they nearly have won my heart.
So it'll be McCarthy against Dennis. McCarthy to the right of screen. Poor bounce, but it favours McCarthy. Knocks it down. PINT get the first clearance. Away they go, the Pointers, through James Bennett. Bennett, a series of handballs. One of the things just to keep an eye on, Nick, is the handball work of Southern Districts, and we've seen it already, about 4 handballs. There goes another one. Here goes another one out wide. Brandon Rusker, he will kick now. Short little chip kick forward, and Rusker picks up Jake McQueen. McQueen was terrific and just nails one forward, and Jonathan Ross, who is a noted goal kicker, and Ross has the chance within a minute to kick on goal, just right of centre, so not too much of an angle, and has the breeze behind him.
And as you said, that's the way Southern Districts play. Lots of handballs out of the middle there, and did it very, very well, and set themselves up for Ross to take this shot.
Jonathan Ross, 45-degree angle, the right footer kicks, and he does it nicely. Doesn't he do that nicely? Jonathan Ross, and we've just been going less than a minute, and Ross has nailed one.
Absolutely, and as I said, we needed a strong start from Southern Districts, because PINT, if they get their nail ahead in front, they're going to be hard to run down, and they'd made use of that breeze, but some brilliant handball work out of the centre there by Southern Districts. The big ruckman with a big one over the top that set them right up, and a good goal from Districts.
And we'll just keep an eye on that, because Districts has been obvious. The handball is an instruction, and that's part of the system that they play, and it worked to perfection there, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, and they went forward at all costs too. There was no messing around going backwards. They just kept that ball moving forward and got the rewards into the first minute.
So it'll be McCarthy again up against Dennis. This time, field umpire chucks it up. Dennis beautifully over the top. Will PINT get the clearance? They do get the clearance again. Stephen Motlop. Motlop up and under. Not terribly good forward. Mark not taken. PINT at least have gone forward. Here they go again. Series of knock-ons. The pace of Southern Districts down back. Again, a series of handballs. We'll just see that, and we'll see that. We'll probably keep harping about that. Matthew Dennis has the mark right half back. Grandstand side, Dennis will go. He goes by hand. Surprise, surprise. Pemberton, a dashing half back for Southern Districts. Up they go, and a fantastic mark there. That time, Jake McQueen, he can play this game. McQueen, again, a handball forward, probably taken high, and he was taken high. Good free kick by the field umpire, and Bo Schwarz has the free kick. 2 kicks out from goal. Schwarz immediately plays on. Gets it up in the Brander direction. Brander in front. Knocks the ball down forward. Who's front and square? McQueen is there, but the PINT defence wraps the ball up as Jonathan Ross, the goal kicker.
So PINT are playing a man-and-man coverage at the moment. And moved away from the zone.
PINT have got some defensive work to do. Southern Districts well inside their forward half, their forward structure. Up they go again. Over the back, and it's Nakia Cockatoo, the chop-out ruckman in the forward line there, number 33. His first game for a long, long time. Nakia Cockatoo once again, but outsize, and certainly his experience, the size overcomes his experience. Jonathan Ross, the goal kicker, picks the ball up, tackled immediately, and an incorrect disposal, and PINT have it at left back pocket. The pointers will clear. Brad Ryan. Kick it outside, defensive 50, favours the grandstand side rather than go across the face of goal. Ball on the ground, in dispute. PINT once again have the footy. Was friendly fire there from Southern Districts. PINT, head down. Charging hard at the football. Connor McDonald. I've mentioned him in the ruck, but they prefer McCarthy early. Going back now is McDonald, and McDonald will square off against Matthew Dennis. McDonald gets the front spot, holds Dennis out, Dennis over the top, no advantage really to anyone. Picked up Schwarz again, had a couple of disposals early. Schwarz up and under, Brander in front, can't take the mark. Ball in dispute. About 45 metres out from the Crocodile goal, but the Pointers really haven't had a sojourn inside their forward 50 yet, Nick.
No, they haven't, and Southern Districts, they've done well to keep them out. The big defender there helped them out then, but they're going to have to start getting a few touches on the ball, or Southern Districts are looking really good. Well,
they've got a 2 or 3 goal breeze. They've got one. They got that inside the first minute. We've played 5 minutes in. It's still 1 goal straight, Southern Districts, to PINT yet to score. District's working hard to kick the ball inside their forward 50 and doing a pretty good job. While it's in there, they're always in with a chance. High tackle, missed by the field umpire. Over the top again. Will he pull out a free kick? No, he won't. Play on. Good umpiring. McDonald can't pick the ball up. It's a long way down for him. And we'll have the bounce. 30 metres out from the Crocodile goal. Cockatoo probably won the tap against the taller opponent. Picked up, shot on goal at that time and hit the post dead set square on the full, and that was Jake McQueen, who's been busy early in this game.
Yeah, the forward six have been really busy for Southern Districts. Just not showing the rewards on the board just yet, but are looking very good.
Point will clear the football. Left foot lays a pass, favouring the outside. The scoreboard side at Marara, which is in fantastic condition. Point look a little bit taller, Nick.
Yeah, they
lovely. Lovely handball. Thomas Motlop has a bounce, runs into an open goal, should not miss and does. But at least they're on the board.
I think the bounce got him then. I thought he thought that was going to come straight back to him, and it didn't, and just took him off his stride by about half a step, and he pushed it right.
And that was enough, wasn't it?
Yep.
You're dead right. Mazzini brings the ball back. Gets it into McQueen again. McQueen favours the left foot this time. On the outer. Running hard after the football, Taj Stanley. A busy player for Southern Districts the last couple of weeks. Stanley just dragged off his kick slightly, but it's out of bounds. And the boundary umpire has some work to do, so it'll be tossed in. Around about 50 metres around from the Southern Districts goal. They carried that quite nicely. Left half forward. Someone's got to climb the fence.
Yeah, the big full forward there decided that he'd see if the runner would go and get it for him. They're a bit of pointing at each other, and eventually the runner decided it's a smart move to jump over the fence.
One thing's for certain, the umpires are not going to chase the football. Someone should get down there and get the footy. Tossed in by the boundary umpire. Cockatoo over the top. Point will clear through Harrison Marr. Picked up beautifully off the ground by Scrow, Ahmad Scrow. Looks like he looks easy, smooth player. Point across the face of goal into the line, and a nice mark that time taken by Marr again. Marr swings onto the left foot, favouring the grandstand side and kicked with precision. Beautiful mark taken half forward, Jacob Maloney. Maloney just backward of the wing, grandstand side. He goes back further, goodness gracious. Brad Ryan. Couple of possessions for him, called a play on. Haven't got time to worry here.
Harrison Mayer, they made 3 leads for that ball before it was kicked back, and they made 2 more after that, and he didn't get recognised at any of them. He's thrown his arms up.
Big Connor McDonald runs the ball over the boundary line at the interchange area. It'll be tossed in by the boundary umpire. On the wing, grandstand side. Southern Districts 1-1-7, leading Point. 1 behind, 8 minutes into the first term. Over the back. Knocked the ball down. First possession there by Calfell. Point go forward, inside forward 50 again. Over the back. Some work by Districts. Districts get it out to Bowden. Bowden tracking. Kicked off the ground cleverly by Motlop. Probably kicking in danger, I think the field umpire said. And Motlop chipped that ball away. No 50-metre penalty.
Yeah, he got away with that. I think it just bounced. It was a late whistle too, so he's got away with that one.
Bowden brings it outside forward 50 in the McQueen direction. He's been busy, as we said already. Probably had half a dozen possessions. Jed Anderson tracking after the football. Tapped cleverly that time by Scrow. Kicks on the line, and Pemberton rushes the behind, and so the Pointers on the board again. 2 behinds. Pemberton to bring the ball back. Will run his full measure onto the left foot. Pemberton favours the grandstands, the scoreboard side. Cleverly knocked up there by, that time it was Terrell Rigney. Haven't seen him before. McDonald and Dennis. McDonald on the right, number 18. Probably a dead heat, picked up by Dennis. He rucked and he roved. Clever. Ball in dispute. Jonathan Ross has the ball. Got it on a bit of a string. This time It gets out there to Warwick Williams, and Williams a deft little kick. Again, PINT favouring, maybe that's the negative side, but favouring the scoreboard side. The Pointers.
It's a strong breeze to the right of the screen, so you think they would come close to the grandstand, but they've decided to go on the other side.
They have indeed. Maybe that's where the options are. Ball in dispute. Scrow has been busy for the Pointers. Picked up this time. Motlop. Kicks forward, usually with precision. Does it, and does it nicely. Jacob Maloney gets the ball back. Big Matty Dennis gets it out nicely to Pemberton. I'm impressed with Pemberton. He's been terrific for Southern Districts all season, but Pemberton's kick that time is astray, and PINT will hold them up. Just forward of the wing. Call to play on. Correct. Spears it forward. No one can take the mark down there. Over the back, it'll be Matthew Mazzini, big number 18, the key defender for Southern Districts. We'll see the ball out of bounds, but it's at right full forwards, at the right end of the ground if you're a Pointer. 10 metres around from their goal. In they go. Matthew Dennis, easy as you like. Yeah. Matthew Dennis collects outside defensive 50. In the direction of Jonathan Ross, who's playing a long, long way up from the goal area. PINT. Their handball's not as slick, although they got a free kick out of that. Just slightly behind play. Nakia Cockatoo on the mark. Cockatoo on the mark on the wing. PINT. Heading, tracking toward the corridor. Stephen Motlop. Giving some instructions. Motlop, how's the kick?
Perfect.
as you would expect. Now that's going to be interesting what happens here, but they were within 5 metres, but he was within 5 metres of his opponent. So a play on called the umpire. That's all square and that's good umpiring. Up they fly again. Ball on the ground, in dispute. Hard at the ball is Kelbfell, but he loses possession. And Southern District's defence now starting to get into the action. They do need to. Jonathan Ross again, a long way up from goal. PINT, defend backwards. Defensive work by PINT's been okay, Nick.
Yeah, they've kept them out. It's just that going forward, they just need to lower their eyes. They're just kicking away in hope there, and Southern District's just punching from behind every time. And
there's another example of what you're talking about, but PINT this time up and under, inside forward 50, looking for, can't find the defensive 50, and Pemberton got his fist to the football. He's a very good player, as I keep saying, Pemberton, Mitch Pemberton, and the ball is out of bounds. Left half forward, 50 metres around from the PINT goal. Grandstand side at Marara, TIO Stadium. 1-1-7 Southern Districts. PINT, 2 behinds, 13 minutes into the first quarter. I'll toss the ball in, for goodness sake. Boundary umpire does toss the ball in. Big Matty Dennis in front, pretty much had everything. Bo Schwartz in the way. Thomas Motlop had a bit of the football. Thomas Motlop, was it touched? It was touched over the line, methinks. Thomas Motlop's nailed it.
Yeah, no, he got to that one. He just a long kick goal umpire was right next to where it dropped, and a perfect goal. It looked really good, and that's about the first time that PINT have gone forward where they've not just blazed away and Southern District ran a punch from the back. The ball dropped to him, and he's taken the shot. And as you said, Thomas Motlop drops that one through, and lo and behold, PINT are in front. 1 goal, 2-8 points to 1-1-7.
They are in front, despite the fact that we're almost against the run of play.
Absolutely. Well
done, Thomas Motlop, a noted goal kicker and a noted defender and a noted midfielder. Been terrific over his career, of course, with Wanderers.
I was just trying to sort through all the Motlops to find him, but there's a few in there.
There are.
Like a word finder in this list.
Yeah, and I think his dad coached Nightcliff, and I think he might have spent a little bit of time with Nightcliff. But nonetheless, he's with PINT now, and the ball up in the air. Matthew Dennis, all the ruckman missed that. I think they were watching each other, and the ball will have a secondary bounce. Will we have a secondary bounce? No, we won't. They're allowed to play on again. Good umpiring. This time we'll have the secondary bounce just outside the bullseye in the corridor. Matthew Dennis, and his direct opponent will be Joshua McCarthy. Dennis and McCarthy. Dennis grabs the ball. He is just indomitable in the ruck. Dennis rucks, roves, gets the ball forward. Busy down there is Stanley Waistcoat for Southern Districts. Tried to tuck. There's Waistcoat again. fumbled. Can't fumble in this sort of footy, Stanley. And the ball in dispute. And a free kick.
Over the shoulder.
Yep, looked like it, didn't it? And that might be Jager Cockatoo. But they've mucked it up. And PINT will clear the footy. They cleared it nicely. Left half back, James Bennett. Grandstand side. Gets it inside to a teammate, Luke Partington. Partington further inside. This time, Chelcraft. Been busy. Chelcraft now inside the corridor. Run, one bounce. Ethan Smith. Smith goes forward. The defence of the Crocs under pressure once again. Hung on to too long. No, play on called the umpire. Got his kick away. That was good, strong body work by Rory Taggart. Croc defence under extreme pressure. PINT look okay. Matt Ryan, the skipper, number 11 there. A noted goal kicker. Tracks the ball out of bounds. Right half forward. About, 30 metres around from the PINT goal. PINT looked dangerous.
They did, and the front four then just certainly had a go and weren't letting the ball out of there.
Tossed in. Matthew Dennis, he headed that ball out. He's not playing soccer, but good enough. Districts will clear the footy, favouring the outer. Running hard after the football is Big Brander, but he will see the ball out of bounds. On the wing, we say scoreboard side, although the scoreboard is on that side, but generally that would have been beneath the old scoreboard. It'll be tossed in by the boundary umpire. McDonald up against Dennis. Dennis once again wins it comfortably. They might as well not put someone up in the ruck against him. I shouldn't say that because he's just so dominant in the ruck. Matthew Dennis gets the ball out. Waistcoat gets it cleverly over his shoulder. Kick on goal and nailed it. Just see if you can pick that player up, Nick.
No, I didn't see it either. Who it was?
Districts back in front. Districts 2-1-13 to PINT 1-2-8. 17 minutes into the term. It was an opportunist goal, wasn't it?
Certainly was. He took the scrubber along the ground. I'm still just waiting to turn around to get his number to find out who it was who actually kicked the goal.
Just keep your eye on him. It should be mandatory to do a 360 so everyone can see who it is.
Normally they come off. That makes it a bit easier as well.
When they're running off. Okay, so we've got McDonald and we've got Dennis in the ruck. Probably a dead heat there in the middle. McQueen in the engine room. Dennis with his head over the football will have the secondary bounce right in the centre of the ground. Up we go again. McDonald, Dennis. Probably McDonald in front, but Dennis's secondary knock was good. The handball, the typical handball, Southern Districts. Playing to the team plan one imagines, and the good tackle. Matthew Johnston, who was good last week against St Mary's for Southern Districts, number 6.
And it was Dean Staunton that got the goal.
Dean Staunton, the skipper, got the goal. Thank you. Johnston has the football forward. Nice kick forward, and Districts are where they want to be, 10 metres around from their goal at right full forward here at Marara Oval.
There's about a minute and a half away from time on. We did say it's a 3-goal breeze. They've got 2 so far.
But the other mob have got 1, so they got 1 into it. So ball to be tossed in. Matthew Dennis hates time on the pine.
I think we'll have that one again because it's come back.
Oh my goodness!
Back to the boundary. He took the bounce and came straight back to him. So I think we'll do that one again. So
we've got Jager Cockatoo in the ruck. We've had Nakia Cockatoo in the ruck. I think we've got Jager Cockatoo in the ruck. We have number 16, a rangy young man. PINT gets clearance. They clear the ball. Clever. Stephen Motlop taken out of bounds, 50 metres around from the Southern Districts goal at right half forward, grandstand side.
Motlop pushing the rest of the PINT team forward then, even though it's the boundary, throwing right outside the 50 of Southern Districts. He's just trying to spread the field a bit.
Ball to be tossed in. McDonald Probably got a fingernail to that. Picked up, but Matthew Dennis didn't win the ruck, but he roved. Dennis once again gets his hand to the football. Picked up that time, PINT, and they will clear the ball. Elliot Chalmers. Chalmers goes forward, almost a one-hander. Can't take the mark. Over the top, Thomas Motlop got steamrolled. Pemberton tries to beat a couple and doesn't. Good tackling, good work. Well done to the Pointers. Ball on the ground. Our man Scrow has the football, been busy, gets it out wide. Little left foot jab. Still outside defensive 50. The Pint have it. Kelb fell.
That was better. That's the best movement in forward that Pint have done. Normally they've been banging those up for the Southern District guys to punch from behind. That one he dropped straight on his chest to the leading forward. And that looked a lot better from Pint.
And this is the skipper, a noted goal kicker. Directly in front. Distance. The breeze might hold it up a little bit, Nick.
Yep.
But he's a left footer, so he's just slightly right of centre, so it's just set it up beautifully for the left footer. Ryan to kick on goal. Distance not an issue, neither is direction. That's a wonderful goal by Matt Ryan.
Goal umpire didn't have to move then, so that's put Pint back in front as we're into time on into the first quarter. 2 goals, 1-13 to 2-2-14.
21 minutes in. So even with the aid of the breeze and plenty of footy, Pint have taken the lead. Solitary point, but that's all you do. The Pint lead by a point.
Doesn't look like it. It looks Southern District look like they've got a little bit more control, and really Pint have only gone forward a couple of times, but they've made the most of those situations and the ones where they've actually lowered the head and lowered the eyes and had a shot. But if they've got to stop bombing it up, because there's some big guys in that big Southern District defensive line. But I think they'll get told at quarter time that's the way to go.
Jed Anderson hasn't had a say in the football. Taken high. Yeah, good free kick. Umpires on top. McDonald it is. Matthew Dennis standing in the middle of the ground like a colossus. McDonald, not a very good kick forward. Mark almost taken. McQueen, here it is. Ball in dispute. Can he break the tackle? He almost broke the tackle. Kicked forward. That was Jager Cockatoo. And looking for Big Brander. Big Brander down there with Jake McQueen right full forward. Now, Cockatoo hasn't had much of a say. That's Nakia Cockatoo. But the big chance here for Southern Districts. Quarter time siren about to sound, I would suggest. Tossed in by the boundary umpire. McDonald knocks the ball down. McQueen tries to break the tackle. Does break the tackle. Ball in dispute and it's knocked through. And we're all square. 2-2 apiece. Coming up 23 minutes into the first term.
You wouldn't think there'd be much more left with only 4 goals scored in the quarter. So we're all tied up.
Chelcraft. Been busy. On baller. Goes forward, does it nicely. Pint now clear their defensive 50. Looking for and finding Harrison Marr. Also been busy. Marr, another left footer. Gets it forward, McDonald, the big man. We've got a few big men, the Pinters. McDonald. Oh, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, but near enough.
The bound jumper was about a foot away, and I think he decided that it was a good mark, so well done.
Yep. So it's Marr. Favours the boundary line. Johnston, the Southern Districts. Good tackle. Looked like it was going to be high, but he lowered his arms. And a terrific tackle, defensive tackle there by Mackenzie Slee. Dennis tries to grab the ball out of the ruck. A little half kick there by Jed Anderson. Ball comes out. Jake McQueen has been terrific. Gets the ball forward. He and Matthew Dennis have kept Southern Districts in the game. Too slow. Just hung onto the ball. You cannot do that. And the ball is taken. And Warwick Williams, former Wanderers player, and there it is, the siren. You were quite right, Nick, and it is quarter time. Southern Districts 2-2, the Pinters 2-2, all square.
Yep, we'll be back with you at TIO Stadium after this short break.
Kazali's Palmerston Club. Come and check out our cafe, open 7 days a week. Our kids club is open Wednesday to Sunday nights, including weekend lunchtime. Enjoy hot meals with nightly specials at the bistro or cold drinks at the sports bar. Feeling lucky? Have a go at the latest machines in our gaming lounge or grab your mates for a round of pool. Family gatherings or casual meetings, we have something for everyone. Kazali's Palmerston Club, making a difference.
Love exploring the territory? If you do, it's good to know that with TIO Comprehensive Car Insurance, if you have an accident covered by your policy, we're here to help with the reasonable costs of towing, as well as your additional emergency accommodation and travelling costs. So get out there and explore. Get a quote today. TIO, we're for Territorians.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the AFL NT coverage of the 23-24 TIO NTFL season. From TIO Stadium here in Darwin on Larrakia country, we're here for round 4 action of the Men's Premier League competition, PINT taking on Southern Districts. I'm Nick Danks and my commentary partner Ian Butterworth. Ian, wow, what do you think of that quarter? The first one, we're all wrapped up, and but Southern District again not scoring up front when they get the chance.
Who'd be the happier coach, Shannon Motlop, the Pinter man, or Shannon Rusker?
I'd be happy if I was Motlop. I think they've looked good in parts. When the 2 goals that they've scored, PINT, they've looked really, really good. They're now going with a breeze that we reckon is a good 2 or 3 goal breeze, so we're going to see what happens early. Southern District's got the first one and looked fabulous. I thought, oh, here we go. The grand finalists are back in action, and then really, apart from a scrappy goal right there towards the end of the quarter, they've kept PINT in it. More
methodical, PINT, more systematic.
Yeah, absolutely. They've had their opportunities. Again, they need to lower their heads. They were banging it high and forward, and Southern District knocking it away, but we'll see what happens in this quarter.
McDonald and Dennis. Dennis comfortably down. Jed Anderson got his left foot to it, off the ground, inside forward 50, grandstand side. Anderson's got to lift his game. A man with his credentials. Southern District's waistcoat. Did a couple of good things in that first quarter, first game. Bo Schwarz, a noted goal kicker. He's got to get on the board. Ball in dispute. But it's at the right end of the ground. Jager Cockatoo, the rangy number 16 there. And Jonathan Ross, the kicker of the first goal. We see him, the blonde boy, number 1 for Southern Districts. Field umpire says, give it to me, gentlemen, and they do. Up they go. Jager Cockatoo, the chop out. McDonald beats him because of his height. And the pick up and the kick, and another one. That one we got came from pretty much nowhere, and Cockatoo, or sorry, the Districts are on the board. And once again, we're not quite sure who kicked that. Yeah, I've got him waiting for him to turn around again. I might have to go and have a chat to Southern Districts this week, but I've got an eye on him. But again, a lucky goal, just came out of the ruck, good ruck work as usual from Southern Districts, and then Lux of Fortune just dropped it in his lap and he slapped it away. And did it well. So again, inside the first minute, which they did in the first quarter. Matthew Dennis up against McDonald. Still got your eye on him, yep. Nick. Dennis and McDonald. Matthew Dennis, the Colossus. Good bounce by the field umpire. Dennis knocked the ball down. Picked up Jake McQueen. Been equally as good. The skipper, Dean Staunton, kicked a goal in the first turn. Gets it forward to Schwarz. And a 50-metre penalty. Did not see what that was. It looked as though the PINT man was stationary after the mark was taken. That was Harrison Marr, but it was off play because the ball has gone forward to Jonathan Ross. And Mitch Pemberton got the last one out of the pack. Mitch Pemberton, the opportunist, half back. So Jonathan Ross, a chance to become a multiple. Directly in front, kicks on goal, and he's nailed it, so he has 2. So Districts have got the first 2 inside 3 minutes. The best possible start. Absolutely. 4 goals, 2-26 to 2-2-14. And as you said, the first 2 goals after only 2.5 minutes have both gone to Southern Districts, Ross and Pemberton's goal scorers. The first one was a bit fluky, the other one was good football. Probably by virtue of the advanced free kick, but nonetheless, it was there. Umpiring's been okay. Breeze has dropped out at the moment, still 34 degrees here, so it's a warm day in the top end. It always is about this time of year as well, as we're getting ready for the build-up or in the build-up. McDonald and Dennis once again. Dennis has done everything. Gets the ball down in the McQueen direction. Up they go, slightly back. Favours McQueen, but the field umpire not quite happy. So he will toss the ball up straight. McDonald beat him, rucked, roved, gets the ball out. PINT, they go forward. Ball on the ground. Districts get it clear by hand. Obviously got a fist football to that. Jed Anderson might have got a bit of curry from the coach. Gets it out to the skipper, Staunton. Taken high in the tackle. Yeah. Yep. Good free kick by the field umpire, got the obvious and paid the advantage. Anderson gets the ball, goes forward, inside the forward 50. Schwarz has been busy, gets it out wide to in the McQueen direction. He can't take it. Cockatoo gets it. He comes out to McQueen. McQueen's got to weave some magic here. but gets it back to Nakia Cockatoo. Nakia Cockatoo gets the ball in, and what about that for a kick to Jonathan Ross?
Perfect pass there. That was Stephen Mottler up at the bottom of that pack, of that pushing and shoving in the back line there for PINT. He's just coming off the ground now.
So Jonathan Ross it is, right of centre. Man on the mark, what is he, about 30, so he's going to have to kick from 35, so distance shouldn't be an issue. And you're quite right, the breeze seems to have died a little bit. Has two. Ross kicks on goal. Immaculate.
No, just pushed it just a little bit left, and the goal umpire, he must have just missed it in the post. The umpire just stood all the way to the post and just went slightly wide.
Unfortunately, a miss by a little bit is still only 1 point, isn't it? It's not 6. Perhaps they should get 3 if it's within within reasonable distance. PINT to bring the ball back in. Runs his full measure. Favours the grandstand side. Goes out in the McDonald direction. The extra pace, Pemberton, a goal kicker. He really is a dasher. Mitch Pemberton plays off half back and kicks a goal. I think he's kicked 3 or 4 goals for the season. Districts inside they go to big Brander. Brander sells the dummy, goes one way, kicks on goal. Can he kick it? Can he nail it? He can't, but Nakia Cockatoo can mark it. He's in the goal square, so he'll go straight back, and I reckon this will be number 3 for the rural team.
We said that a couple of weeks ago and he missed from there, so we'll just hold on. I won't put this one down until he knocks it through. But you think he'd be right. He's directly in front and he's just got to pop this over the, put it into the Michael Long centre.
Don't kick it out of the ground, Nakia. I think it's about $120 a football. If he does kick it out of the ground, he's got to go and get it. That's the game you've got to play, isn't it? So Nakia Cockatoo, first game for Southern Districts for a long, long time. From the goal square, nails it. That's number 3 for the team.
3 for the quarter, so 5-3-33 to 2-2-14. PINT yet to get on the scoreboard in this quarter. And as you said, Southern Districts got 3-1 this quarter.
Against the breeze, that seems to have kicked up a little bit again because the sea breeze will reinforce that northerly. But it's all PINT. Oh, I'm sorry, it's all Southern Districts. Matthew Dennis hates spending time on the pine. He just wants to be on the field of play, so he's got no chop out of the extreme forward, the forward line. Jager Cockatoo takes the ruck work down there while Dennis sits back. Matthew Dennis, it is again, field umpire. Good bounce, up they go. Nice bounce again. Andrew Jones, the chop out ruckman, but it's Dennis who wins it comfortably. Wrapped up. Brandon Rusker's got him and he's not going to let him go. Good tackle, Rusker, on Lee Peters. Almost could have been in the back. No, field umpire says give it to me again. 55 metres out from the Southern Districts goal. They've got 3 goals in this second term. Clever by Matthew Dennis. Charging at the football. Probably could have been a free kick given against him. That's Brandon Rusker, because the ball came out in the tackle. Matthew Johnston. I like the way he plays for Southern Districts, number 6. There it is again. Matthew Dennis gets the first foot to the football. Southern Districts. Jake McQueen has been busy. Kicks across the face of goal.
And out of bounds on the full.
Missed everything. It's not very good, Jakey. Ball to be brought back in. PINT will clear their defensive 50. Scoreboard side. They go again. Matthew Dennis got a fist to the football. He's everywhere, Matthew Dennis, isn't he? He's just terrific. PINT working hard after the football. James Bennett has been busy for most of the game. And a good tackle. And no Pryor, no chance. Give it to me, said the field umpire, and we'll have a bounce. At least PINT have got the ball there right. It's a kick and a half out from the PINT goal. Matthew Dennis gets it out to Matthew Johnston. Every Tom, Dick and Harry's a Matthew here. And the ball is out of bounds once again. So it'll be tossed in by the boundary umpire, 55 metres around from the PINT goal, left half forward.
This could be the first time PINT have gone forward into their 50 this quarter after 3 goals for Southern Districts.
Jones in ruck, but it's Dennis over the back. But sharked there by Stephen Motlop. Gets the ball out somehow. Clever and a high tackle. Good free kick by the field umpire. And it'll be Sam Calfell. Too far out to score. Runs around onto the right boot. Sends it inside forward 50. You're quite right. That's the first foray forward inside the forward 50. And a pick up by Thomas Motlop. That might have hit the post. So
Yes,
again, that should be a 3-pointer.
Or play on. It's back in the field.
yeah.
They did try that one year in the pre-season, and I rather liked it.
Here they go outside, although not quite outside defensive 50, but a nice mark taken by Stanley. Stanley now is outside defensive 50, and the rangy Jager Cockatoo takes the mark for Southern Districts. What's he done? Kicked it across to Rusker. Cockatoo and Rusker, there's some famous names at Southern Districts. Nakia Cockatoo, if he tackles you, you stay tackled. And he was tackled, the PINT player. And Nakia Cockatoo helps Rusker to his feet. Pretty much in the centre of the ground. Matthew Dennis can't be pushed off the football. He just does it so easily. He rucks and he roves and he gets the ball out to Rusker. Rusker kicks across the face of goal. Pace. The extra pace there. Well done by Terrell Rigney. Only had a couple. Jonathan Ross, been busy, kicked a couple of goals. The only multiple goal scorer of the game. Speaking of the score, 5-3-33 Southern Districts. PINT 2-3-15. 10 coming up 11 minutes into the second term. The Pointers have struggled.
Yeah, they have this quarter, but they've done again what they did in the first quarter. They let Southern District score early, then lock it all up, and they did. Unfortunately, they've knocked 3 early, but the Pine haven't locked it up at the moment. Because
the scores were level at quarter time, so you're quite right. So the ball in dispute, no prior opportunity. Matthew Johnston tackled strongly by Jai Chalcraft. The field umpire says, dead heat, gentlemen, give it to me. So 60 metres, a kick and a half. Jager Cockatoo gets a right fist to the football. No clearance. Not much science with Cockatoo in the ruck. They're giving the chop out for Matthew Dennis, but at least he's getting his fist to the football and stopping his direct opponent, McDonald. McDonald that time get it. He's a ruckman, knocks it to a teammate. Stephen Motlop kicked it off the ground, taken high. That was a pretty ordinary tackle. And a 50-metre penalty. That's good umpiring, good control. Dead set high tackle.
Yep. He's pinged them against his second 50 metres, line him up for a goal, and if the measurement of the 50-metre arc is right, he should be not far away from there.
So that might be Terrell Rigney. Or was a relayed free kick, so Bo Schwarz
has got it.
Got it, yeah. A noted goal kicker, Schwarz, will not miss. Left of centre, suits the right footer. Has about, by the time he gets rid of it, it'll be about 30 metres. Very reliable. Don't let the curse take you, Bo Schwarz. Very carefully, runs in and makes no mistake.
Had to worry for a second, though.
I did, yeah.
He did come back against the breeze, but he's popped that through pretty confidently.
Gee, 4 goals to nothing in this second term, which is about halfway through, 13 minutes.
And, of course, we had another game last night. Darwin Buffs remain undefeated now after a 32-point win over Palmerston. Straight up after this game, Nightcliff take on Tiwi. That'll be a beauty, that one. And then tomorrow back here at TIO, Wanderers take on St Mary's for round 4 of the NTFL.
Pretty even competition, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been a good year this year. I mean, after week 2, I think every side had won a game. The only one that undefeated was Darwin Buffs, and yeah, it's been a great competition. It looks like a couple of sides have got a bit of changes to make as we come into Christmas, but after that, it looks like a good year.
And they remain undefeated, of course. As the clearance comes out, Jed Anderson's lifted a little bit in this second term. PINT on the defensive work, kicking under pressure. Pemberton hovering. Matthew Dennis hovering. Gets the ball out to a teammate. That is Luke Delaney. Hasn't had much of it. Matthew Johnston. Gee, I like the way he plays.
He's a big hit then on our Harrison Mayer, but he shook himself up and he's just running back into the 50 now, but it was a big hit on him.
Terrell Rigney Poor kick.
And a poorer one out of bounds on the fall.
Yeah, so this time it's Michael Bowden. Hasn't had a lot to do, Bowden.
He now jumps the fence. But he has been quiet. He's normally gets lots of touches throughout the game, but he's been very quiet in the first half.
Yeah, and elegantly over the fence too. So his fence jumping, probably a 9 out of 10, I would
that was
say.
Very well done.
Yeah. So Bowden will swing the left footer. Oh, he's giving the ball up.
Must have been something off the ball, because it's definitely out in the fall.
Yes. Anyway, the Pointers have got control of the football. Chelcraft gets it forward. Point need a goal. That's a bit of an understatement. Here's a chance. Gets the ball out. Nice handball over the top. Runs into an open goal. Missed it. Can't afford to miss. I mean, it's an understatement, isn't it? But 4 goals to nothing as Pemberton moves back.
And there was 2 Point guys in the outside of the square that he could have checked that back and they would have had a shot directly in front, but he's gone for it and missed a lot.
Pemberton picks up a teammate. He dropped it, but had time to recover. That's Ethan Maney. Doesn't normally drop too much. Maney, 2-on-1. McDonald knocks the ball back. Tackle. And a great tackle, fantastic tackle, Jay Dalhouse. I think this might be his first possession. It's not a big possession winner, but by gee, when he gets the football, always does something with it. And does that time. Gets it out to Schwarz, the most recent goal kicker. Schwarz, lovely forward to Matthew Johnston. Johnston, once again, another possession for him. Gets it to centre half forward. Rigney goes forward to the big man. Now let's see how he goes. Directly in front. Distance, not an issue.
Again, lovely football there from Southern Districts. That's when they look their best, when they lower the eyes, chip it around like that, and hit the running forward, right in the chest, running forward, and let's see how he goes.
The handball's not as obvious. They seem to be wanting to chip with the foot now.
Yep.
Brander to kick on goal. Hasn't got one. Got 4 last week in his first game in district colours. Directly in front. Man on the mark, 30 metres from goal, will kick from 35 and makes no mistake. There's another one.
He looks a likely goal kicker, that Jared Bradner. He's, as you said, he got 4 last week, and I think he might get a few during the season. He's a big lad, and if he keeps feeding him like that, and he can kick accurately, he might get a bag of goals this year at some stage.
Well, goals to Nakia Cockatoo, Mitch Pemberton, Jared Brander, Beau Schwarz and Jonathan Ross in this second term. It was all square at quarter time.
Yep, 7-3, 45 to 2-4-16. So Pine have only scored 2 points this quarter. Should have had a goal a few minutes ago, but it's still all been Southern Districts against a pretty strong breeze as well.
Should have. I wonder who I tipped it before the game. And I've got one change of mind. I won't exercise that just yet.
Yeah, no, Point can come home quickly.
They can.
Don't worry about that.
So Matthew Dennis, but they haven't got Matthew Dennis to contend with, as all teams that play Southern Districts do. Dennis, always on the field. Dennis and McDonald. Dennis knocks it to his team's advantage. Jonathan Ross has a couple. Jonathan Ross spins out of trouble and gets it to the big man again. Brander. Jared Brander. Doesn't move too far from goal.
No, I think he's kicking from probably the same spot, if not a metre wide. A bit metre now because the umpire's pushed him around, but I reckon he's kicking from around about the same distance and the same spot he got the last one, and he got that pretty comfortably.
Don't mind the right footers just to the left of centre, so that suits him. Brander will cross the paint of 50. Very deliberate, walks in. Now he's into the trot. Kicks on goal. Looks okay off the boot, but he's missed a lot. Goodness gracious, that was woeful. Perhaps he needs to be 20 metres out directly in front.
Yeah, no, he pushed that far wide. Keep an eye on this season, though, because we'll work out what his distance was, but for some reason there, he just didn't feel confident running in then.
Point. Call to play on. Left full back. Clears defensive 50. On the outer. Mark not taken. Over the football. Handball. Who does it get it? Matthew Dennis. Matthew Dennis gets it to Brander. Brander. Nice handball forward. Ball in dispute. Picked up defensively by Pendle. Pendle for Point. kicks the ball out of bounds. The Pendle punt from PINT for PINT, and the ball is out of bounds. And you look at Brandon Rusker, he's not as elegant jumping over the fence. he is not a patch on Michael Bowden.
No, he's climbing over it rather than jumping over
it. Yeah, that's right. Lift your game. Now, they should be practicing that out at Southern Districts training nights, how they get over the fence. All part of the game. Beauchevois, good tackle that time by Chalcraft, who's been pretty good for PINT. Districts to kick on goal. Who to? Waistcoat. Runs around, knocks the ball to his advantage. And can he swing it back? Nowhere near it. Has had a couple. And another minor score. They've just had everything. I don't know whether PINT have been inside. Well, they obviously have, because they've kicked a couple of points, haven't they? But
yeah, they've only had one real opportunity, though, which he should have converted.
Yes.
But apart from that, it's been all them. You're watching AFL NT coverage of the 23-24 TIO NTFL season here from TIO Stadium in Darwin. And it's Southern Districts in firm control at the moment, 7-4-46 to 2-4-16.
PINT outside the defensive 50, but everywhere you look, there's Southern Districts players. The handball back, runs inside forward 50, just inside forward 50, Waistcoat in front. Did he get a first touch to it? No, over his head, and Waistcoat's got his first goal. Well done to him. Not sure whether the mark should have been paid early, but it wasn't, but he was good enough to get the goal.
Yep, he pushed that forward to himself. He took control of it, took the time, and then just popped it over his shoulder. And they've got their 8th goal and their 6th of the quarter. So 8-4-52 to 2-4-16 as we're into time on in the second quarter.
Well, it's goalless, as you suggested, Nick, and it is 21 minutes into the second term.
Yeah, I just think 6 goals, though, is still half a game of footy to go, and PINT are a fit side, if nothing else, as they proved all last season and a couple of times this year. I had a look back. They've done pretty well scoring in the second half, but, gee, Southern District get a couple early after half-time, and it could be a long afternoon.
Matthew Johnston in there, Jake McQueen in there, Matthew Dennis in there, so they've got the engine room covered. Southern Districts. Good bounce by the field umpire. Jones, no match for Dennis, but not too many are. Ball out, handball, PINT. Pushed out.
Pushed him out there, yeah.
Yep, Ethan Maney. Silly.
Good umpiring. They wanted to see what was going to happen with the ball and then waited for the bounce and then called it.
Quite right. Thomas Motlop it is. Yeah, good observation, Nick. Thomas Motlop chips the ball in, but Mitchell Pemberton sees the ball out of bounds. The boundary umpire is still the defender's best friend, isn't it?
Yeah.
Even though we've got this deliberate out of bounds and all that sort of stuff, but he's still the best friend of the defender. Ball tossed in by the boundary umpire. Big Matty Dennis catches the football in the ruck, which you're allowed to do now, and running around Southern Districts on the left foot. Over the football, Big Jones. The ball up and under. Will it go out of bounds? No, it won't. McQueen there. Nakia Cockatoo. Knocked it. Oh, beautifully done. Not quite sure what's going on here. And the very busy Jake McQueen.
He's just told them all to slow it down now. I think they're quite happy to go into half-time with this very comfortable lead. Pemberton,
outside defensive 50, has Jed Anderson, being particularly quiet. Had the handball, but decided not to. Went to the kick. Maney over the footy. Got the call from the wrong person. PINT, they're in the van. Running hard after the football, Sam Kelbfell. And Pemberton, what a player he is.
Yeah, he's had a good quarter here.
He's been terrific all season for Southern Districts. Maney inside. Anderson has a player wide. Sorry, Nick. And they're away. Southern Districts out. Bowden, what's he doing up forward? Because he's an elegant fence jumper.
he kicked that like a backman.
He did, didn't he? And picked up by Johnston. Johnston goes forward. over the football. Schwarz handball out wide. Brandon Ruska. Does he get their ninth for the... No, they don't. It's a minor score.
8-5-53 to 2-4-16. Well into time on. Should be a minute or so to go, if even in that, in this game as we're heading into half-time.
They've dominated the term, the 6-0. Is that about what you would expect?
Yeah, for a side that were in the grand final last year and really were in the grand final, at one stage they led into the final quarter, and PINT, of course, failed to make the finals in there. This is their second season. It's probably what you'd expect.
Mitchell Burgess goes forward. Ruska lays off by hand. Over the top. Too powerful. Oh, gosh. No, or maybe there was a free kick. I missed the whistle. But they've got it back. Cockatoo, that's Nakaya, gets it forward. Picked up by Southern Districts. Jay Dalhouse and the minor score. Rushed behind. Rushed never gets a goal. Always behind.
He had to play on them pretty quickly because the umpire said it wasn't 15. So it's good to see they use that rule occasionally.
Yeah.
I've seen them pay for a lot less than that one.
Umpiring been very, very good. And it probably wasn't 15.
No, it wasn't.
Out they go. No mark taken. Maney. Ball flipped out wide. They're always under pressure. Doesn't matter where it is. Credit to Southern Districts. As long as they don't run out of puff. Thomas Motlop. That was clever. Hung on to. Play on called the umpire. Pemberton. Big man there. James Bennett for PINT. Oh, gee, it's just all too easy, isn't it? Matthew Mazzini gets the ball wide. Across the face of goal. Has to be Brandon Ruska. Played all right. Ruska gets the ball by hand to Burgess. Burgess will get the ball forward, further forward. Ran for 10 metres and had 2 bounces. Kicks it inside. Big Brander. What's he going to do? Chips it over the top to the running player and continues to run to see who this is, because that will be a miraculous goal. But it's not a goal of the year, but it could have been.
I think I saw the goal of the year last week for Tiwi. He ran it from the back line all the way through, and they just sort of watched him, and everyone went, where's he going to kick this? And eventually he did for a goal. So I think I saw it last week.
8-8. That's pretty wasteful. 56, 2-4-16. It's a 40-point lead, and we're not quite at half-time yet. 26 and a half minutes into the term. Picked up that time by Ma, who's been okay for PINT. A bounce. He ran a metre that time, Stephen Motlop, and had a bounce. Southern Districts out in the direction of Dennis. Sells the dummy. He's starting to get a little bit cocky and a little bit smart for himself. Jed Anderson, they're sweating a little bit. Anderson again sells the dummy. Gets it out wide. The kick's not precise to Brander. Brander, what'll he do? The strength of Brander probably pushed him in the throat. Brander, a couple of bounces, running on the scoreboard side on the outer, and kicks it to an opponent. PINT will clear. They do. Haven't kicked a goal in this term. Stephen Motlop, again, the normal. He runs for a metre, then has a bounce. Kicks it to cousin Thomas. Thomas gets pushed over, gets the ball back. Thomas Motlop chips it forward over the back. Mark not taken. Kicked off the ground. Good defence by Southern Districts. They'll work hard. Big Dennis can't find the handle, but easily good enough to push an opponent off. A kick across the face of goal, and a goalless second term by the Pointers, while Southern Districts booted 6 and go into half-time. 8-7-55. PINT languishing 2-4-16.
Yeah, they only went forward 3 times in that quarter. PINT did, and Southern Districts made them pay. So it's half-time here at TIO Stadium. Southern Districts at a comfortable lead at the moment. We'll be back at TIO Stadium after this short break.
Kazali's Palmerston Club. Come and check out our cafe, open 7 days a week. Our kids club is open Wednesday to Sunday nights, including weekend lunchtime. Enjoy hot meals with nightly specials at the bistro, or cold drinks at the sports bar. Feeling lucky? Have a go at the latest machines in our gaming lounge, or grab your mates for a round of pool. Family gatherings or casual meetings, we have something for everyone. Kazali's Palmerston Club, making a difference.
kick to the top of the goal square, but Pint scrambling in defence, but only as far as Turnbull there. He hands it off to Carlin once again. He kicks long towards goal. The kick looks pretty good. I think it's just got there. It has. So first blood on the board to Waratah. To it, but again Pint set up in defence. This time the kick's smothered and play on's the call as the tackle comes in. Here's the big fella Hutt gets on the end of it, easy as you like, and just bangs it straight through the middle. Toby Hutt with the goal for Tars and gets his hand on it, then turns it over, and Pint trying to work it through the hands. The left foot kick is hooked right back into the goal square. It's going to go all the way, I think. It has, and that was Bennett for Pint as it's brought in by Smythe. Straight down the middle of the ground. Thomas Motlop's in some space at the back of the pack, and he's got another one. So just in the right place at the right time a couple of times. Thomas Motlop, Pint go inside forward 50 again. Ryan cleverly gets it over, and now a snapshot towards goal. Looks good. It is good. And that was Andrew Jones got on the end of that one. Ball at ground level is swooped on, and now an opportunity for Thomas Motlop. Just bats it forward, and now a snapshot for goal. Looks good. It is good. And
kind of stepped out to 25-point lead.
Kirby with the long kick straight down the middle of the ground. Williams spilt the mark. Here's a chance, and Hutt at ground level. So a costly mistake back there by Warwick Williams. Who's ground, and Turnbull gets a hand pass over the top to Munkara. He goes for a run round the outer side of the ground. A couple of bounces now, loses control of it, but gets it back again. He has a third bounce. He's running all the way up to the goal line here. Kicks towards goal from about 10 metres out, and a terrific piece of play. We talked about having the courage to take the game on, Dave, and that's exactly what he did. To Cassidy. Cassidy kicks high towards half forward. Punched away off the hands. Silver with the hand pass over the top to the advantage of Brody Carroll. Brody Carroll on the left foot. And once again, just quick movement of the ball. It is for Pint. And tackled with the ball out wide there was Skeen McMahon. Now here's another shot at goal from out wide. It's Munkara again, is it? Straight through for a goal from out on the boundary line. Hooks one over the top again, but it's Pint at ground level. As Motlop on the outside of the boot kicks towards goal. It's swinging back. I think he's got it. He has got it. It's just got over the line. Stephen Motlop with once again a bit of magic. The city end half of the ground as they've all pushed back. Tars to try and stop it. Pint to try and get there's a kick off the ground out of the middle of the pack, and it's a goal, and Pint have got themselves back in front. We're just trying to work out who it is that they pick up off the ground. I think it might be Elliot Chalmers in there. I think it is, yeah. Kirby in front, gets it over the back to Collis. Collis gets a quick kick forward as the siren sounds. The game's over miraculously. Excuse me. Pint have given up a huge margin, and then somehow have managed to come back and got their noses in front and held on in the end to win by 1 point, Dave. What a game of footy. Oh.
Kim Cantilla, so back to two. He runs around the player on the mark, kicks along with the left. The kick looks pretty good. It's going right to the line. It's going over the line and through for the first goal of the match. And
Grappy in the midfield.
So from the rock contest, Tui again clearing away, and a shot at goal. Swinging back on the breeze. Looks good. It's Timothy Babui. And his teammates get around him. That's another goal to Tui. Pretty well behind there. Use it to Michael Dunn. He chips the ball down towards centre half forward. Or through the hands. Ball slips out, and now another chance for Tui. The ball's banged on the boot there by Jason Puruntarameri Jr. And it's another Tui goal. Streaming out, and now the ball at ground level again, and Palmerston defenders are worried as it's picked up by Orville this time. On the left foot, he kicks long towards goal. It's floating all the way through. Brock Orville gets on the scoreboard as well to get it. To Tipalura. Tipalura kicks inside 50 at ground level. There's another opportunity. Running round, Roy Cantilla swings on the right foot. Just found himself some space. And Kim Cantilla, sorry it was, that kicked that goal.
In front, but he did well to get back in front of it.
Patulo wins the hit out down to Edmonds. Edmonds snaps at goal. I think he's got it. He has. It's another Palmerston goal, and it's Edmonds again. Kick looks like that's going across the face. It's falling short. Punched away from behind. Kim Cantilla at ground level picks up, snaps around the corner, and celebrates as well as anyone ever has with a fist pump to the air. Control it in the end, and now he's got some support from McDonald. Tipping-Woody gets it back. And now back over the top to McDonald. Tipping-Woody snaps towards goal. I think he's got it. He has, and his first goal for the game. Tiwi off and running once again as Orville kicks down here in front of the grandstand. Kim Cantilla cleverly pushes off Wills, runs inside forward 50 now, steadies himself, kicks towards goal. Got it. And that's another beautiful finish. And Kim Cantilla is having some sort of game.
That's his third goal for the day.
Got tackled as he took possession of the ball. Cantilla got it over to Brendan Cantilla, streaming away, kicks inside forward 50. That's a beautiful pass. So Kim Cantilla kick on the way. Looks pretty good, I think. It's going right to the line. Goal umpire had to duck underneath it, but it's through for a goal. Affects Cruz in the marking contest. The ball spills to Patulo. He's got a player in space out the back. It's Church as the ball bounces away from him. He's running into the open goal. Can't miss that one. And that was better transition play by Palmer. So Cantilla wins a hit out straight down to Orville. Orville kicks long down towards half forward. McDonald Tipping-Woody running with the flight of the ball, snatches it out of the air and runs in and bangs it through for another Tiwi goal, his second.
Willing to run out of there, so it certainly caused a lot of trouble at Palmerston when they've gone forward.
Patulo did the ruck work, gets it back, swings the ball towards goal. Looks good. It is good. It's gone through for another Palmerston goal there. Second in this quarter. Now Patulo chips in short to Wills. He's got a player over the top, and surely another goal here. And again, it's Church who gets on the end of it and runs in and kicks his third goal, his second from about a metre out. He's in space all by himself. He's got the player out wide. As the siren goes, he swings it out there, and the Tui fans rejoice with a comfortable victory here, and obviously one that has a lot of meaning with the ceremony that they had before the game, yep. Nick, and everything that's happened on the Tiwi Islands over the last month or so.
Love exploring the territory? If you do, it's good to know that with TIO Comprehensive Car Insurance, if you have an accident covered by your policy, we're here to help with the reasonable costs of towing, as well as your additional emergency accommodation and travelling costs. So get out there and explore. Get a quote today. TIO, we're for Territorians.
Here, and Forrester's kick misses the target, and a chance for Nightcliff early as Kyle Emery comes out on the lead. Comes in now with the set shot, kicks on the way. Goal umpire does not move, straight through the middle, and Emery gets Nightcliff on the board early in this first quarter. For Nightcliff gets the kick forward, and at ground level it's Kennedy who gets the hand pass over the top. Here's a chance for Nightcliff as the shot towards goal looks good. They're celebrating Nightcliff, but it's Wanderers with the clearance as the kick comes into half forward. Morris from behind trying to punch the ball away. Here's an opportunity for Wanderers as Keelan Fijay gets out the back, has a bounce, runs into the open goal and bangs it through from a couple of metres out to get Wanderers' first goal on the board, and finds Politis just inside the forward 50. Philo running around the back, calling for it. He receives, kicks long towards goal, and he's thumped that straight through the middle. And Joe Moody hands it off to Politis, who kicks long straight down to the contest at the top of the goal square. The ball slips out the back, easy as you like. It's Brett Kennedy who gets on the end of it and thumps it through for yet another Nightcliff goal. A good hand pass across the top there from Tardrew, and the kick goes into the goal square out the back. Mummery again, one-handed, scoops it up, gets it onto the foot, kicks it over his shoulder, and as quickly and easily as you like. Ball inside to the 50, just Jerome Motlop couldn't handle it, but now it comes across Trey Thompson. Hand passes over the top, and this should be a walk-in goal to Wanderers. It is, and a badly needed one, as Preston Patrick got on the end of that. He hand passes over the top, and Motlop drills the pass looking for Thompson, comes back to Marlon Motlop now running inside 50, has a chance to score for Wanderers, and he does, bangs it straight through the middle, and that was a better passage of play. Gets the 1-2, gets it off to Peris now. Peris with a high ball. It's a one-on-one contest out here from the goal square, but working back to help now is Scott. He hooks the ball over his shoulder, and that's a pretty good finish in the
Welcome back to AFL NT's coverage of the 23-24 TIO NTFL season from TIO Stadium here in Darwin and Larrakia country. Round 4 action of the Men's Premier League. PINT taking on Southern Districts. I'm Nick Danks. My commentary partner this afternoon, Ian Butterworth. A goalless second quarter to PINT. Ian and the Crocs hold a 39-point lead at half-time.
Plus 39 at half-time. Gee whiz, they were impressive, weren't they, in that second term? Particularly, we suggested at the start of the game, and I look at the flags still, they're favouring the airport end here at Southern Districts and at TIO Stadium, and Districts were kicking against the breeze, so 6-0 kicking against the breeze. I mean, what's the answer for PINT?
I don't know, but they're really going to have to get the first one or couple in this game. They are a very fit side. They were all last season. The one side, every time I've watched them play, they have come back well in the second quarter. But currently this season, their biggest score was 11 goals. So they're probably going to have to kick their biggest score of the season to win this one. And it's going to have to start straight away in the start of the quarter. But you think Southern Districts will lock them back out of their forward line?
Well, PINT, they are struggling, but certainly Southern Districts, their form this season hasn't been all that flash. What would be the message, do you think, from Coach Shannon Rusker?
I think trying to lock the ball in their forward line, which they did very, very well in that second quarter. So I think PINT went forward 3 times, probably should have got 1 goal, but the rest of it was pretty much all Southern Districts. And if they keep that up for at least the first 10 minutes of this third quarter, they could then just go back to playing some zone defence and take it from there.
All single goal kickers except for Jonathan Ross for Southern Districts. Ross got 1 in the first, 1 in the second, and the rest are single goal kickers. And Thomas Motlop and Matt Ryan are the goal kickers. Only 2 goal kickers, of course, as you said, Nick, for the Pinters. The third quarter about to get underway, and the Guns are in the middle once again. Jake McQueen in there, Matthew Johnston in there, and of course the big man, Matthew Dennis.
And for the first 2 quarters, Southern District scored a goal in the minute in both quarters. If they do that here, it's going to be scary for PINT, so we'll see what happens.
McDonald it is, and he will be up against Dennis. Dennis gets the ball down. A big surprise there for Stephen Motlop. The ball fell into his hand, but he lost possession, but he got a free kick out of it. That's interesting. Anyway, Motlop has the ball in the middle. Runs, kicks inside forward 50. A lovely kick. Mark taken? No mark taken. And they work overtime once again, and they just do it comfortably. Matthew Mazzini clears the football, gets it up to left half forward. The big man has a goal, kicks it forward. Bo Schwarz, clean bowled by that. Nakia Cockatoo will get it back to Schwarz. He does get it back to Schwarz. Well done to him. Schwarz has he had about 3 decisions to make there, and he had plenty of time to do it. And Jonathan Ross, the man we were speaking about, and he kicked a goal inside the first minute of the first quarter and the second quarter. Let's see if he does it for the third quarter. On his distance, I reckon, mate, but he's got the breeze behind him.
Yep, and the breeze still to the right of screen of the airport end. 32 degrees here in Darwin at the moment.
Ross lays it off and does it beautifully. The defence of PINT, in that case, lamentable. Bo Schwarz, a noted goal kicker. Schwarz, left of centre, the right footer. I set him up earlier in the game and said he will not miss, and he did. So I'll say nothing, but it suits the right footer. Angle, not much to speak of, perhaps 45, but it wouldn't upset the right footer. Kicking to the airport end at TIO Stadium. Schwarz missed.
Called a long way out by the goal umpire there. She knew which way that ball was going, and it stayed to the left of screen and didn't move.
So PINT to bring the ball back. A couple of leads, but not much happening. Will run his full measure. That's Warwick Williams. Gets the ball out. Away they go, but Districts, easy as you like. Gets it inside. The man who missed.
Could have had a shot from exactly the same position then, decided not to, and passed it on.
Jed Anderson, the left footer. Can he steer this through? Has been a bit quiet. I guess our expectations are pretty high, aren't they, of this young man? Anderson. Very deliberate. Very deliberate. They all like it. He got it, and quite contrary to what you suggested, Nick, that you thought that PINT need the first couple.
They're going to struggle now, and at that stage of the game, I just had a quick look, and there was not a single player in the PINT half of the ground. Everybody had pushed forward, and that pretty much shows what Southern District's mindset will be in this quarter, certainly in the first half of it anyway, is just keep the ball pushed forward and keep the pressure on, and keep PINT out of the game. But we go back to the 6-6-6, which spreads everyone around again, and we get back into the middle.
Away we go again. Matthew Dennis up against McDonald. Connor McDonald, number 18. Dennis it is. It looks like we've got Michael Bowden playing. Oh no, it's Matthew Johnston. I love the way he plays. Pinched by Jake McQueen. Gets it out to Matthew Johnston. Johnston by hand, looking for McQueen. Big Connor McDonald gets in the road, goes forward. The defence of Southern Districts, Thomas Motlop, been okay in the forward line for PINT. PINT move again. Stephen Motlop gets it out to Scrow. Scrow goes forward, looking hard. The defence been terrific. Mazzini clears. An ungainly kick, but it's outside defensive 50. PINT will go in through Motlop. Courageous by Johnston. Brandon Rusker pushes his opponent off. We'll go by hand. Out they go. McQueen outside defensive 50. Toss up between McQueen and Matthew Dennis, in my view, for best on the ground. The left foot, the terrific left foot by Anderson. Gets it out to Schwarz. Schwarz, before he's unceremoniously whacked, gets the ball out. Gets the ball out, but I shouldn't laugh. Kelbfell, because I'm not out there, it's poor old Bo Schwarz that's out there. PINT have the football. Partington been pretty quiet. Goes wide. Handball out in the direction of Stephen Motlop. Motlop inside defensive 50, but just chopped off so comfortably.
It's playing into the Crocs' hands, kicking them in the forward line like that. They're just a lot bigger in their defence.
Johnston
coming out easily.
Anderson goes wide. It's just Jonathan Ross, goal kicker. Has one in the first, one in the second. Ball in dispute inside the Croc forward line, which is probably what we expected. 1-0 in this third term. Nakia Cockatoo beaten by McDonald. McDonald to no one in particular. Now kicks it outside, but the skipper runs hard at the football. Stephen Motlop. That's his third or fourth possession in this third term. His work rate's good. Out to Thomas Motlop. Series of handballs. Scrow has the football. One bounce. Runs along the outer wing. Inside forward 50. Terrible kick. Impossible to mark because it ran along the ground. And the Thomas Motlop over the football again. The defence of Southern Districts working overtime, and a kick on goal, and I reckon he's nailed it. So that's a goal apiece, and that was might have been Stephen Motlop. So he's been busy in this third term, but it's been a long time between drinks as far as 6-pointers are concerned for the Pinters.
Yeah, they needed that goal, obviously, but it's now back to all square that it was at a 40-point lead. So Southern Districts picked up a point since half-time, but they do look better when they go forward, but lowering their eyes and aiming for the guy coming forward, PINT do, because kicking the ball over the back is just playing into the Crocs' hands. And the Crocs have gone forward a couple of times already in this quarter and look pretty good.
Back in the middle we go. McDonald v Dennis. And Dennis hasn't been on the pine. Just likes to play footy. Ball bounce, not too bad. Dennis wins the tap. Rucks, then roves. So we say that so often. Tumbles it forward. Right half forward. Running hard at the football. PINT, terrific defensive work there. And the ball is run out of bounds, and that was very good Warwick Williams.
He did well there to get the ball in front of him there. It's just unfortunate the boundary beat him to it, but certainly had some pace.
He did. He was very determined, Warwick Williams, former Wanderers player. Stanley waistcoat. Rolled over and the ball is out of bounds, but a smidgen closer to the Croc forward line, grandstand side. Crocs with the breeze in the third term. Dennis over the back, waistcoat. Got to get rid of it quicker. Handballed it into traffic, and the ball is out of bounds. But again, a smidgen closer. They're just working it forward, methodically.
Matthew Johnson holding his right hand at the moment, thinking a trot on is what happened, but he's up and he's still playing, but he is shaking it off.
Point, run the ball forward. Chelcraft been pretty good in a team that hasn't had too many outstanding players. Chelcraft has been one of them. But again, we keep saying the districts have worked the ball forward within 40 metres of their goal at right half forward, between right half forward and right full forward. Grandstand side. Good one by the boundary umpire. Nakia Cockatoo in front. In front and in ruck. Point, got to work overtime. Jonathan Ross has the footy. I thought I heard a whistle.
Yep, he dumped him off the ball, but I think... Yep, dumping him off the ball.
Well, that's silly. That really is silly. And Cal Fell has the free kick deep in defence. They had the run of the football. High leap and a mark. Yep, the mark taken and paid. Brad Ryan hasn't done much. Ryan goes to centre half forward in front. Ball in dispute. Scrow up and under. All waiting for someone else to do something. Series of handballs and they'll work their way out. Bowden gets it out by hand. On the lead. Big man gets it and does it nicely. But unfortunately the kick is astray and Pint hold them up at centre half back. Inside defensive 50. Williams. Still inside defensive 50. Now they're outside defensive 50. The mark taken by Chelcraft. Chelcraft across the face of goal. Scrow favours the scoreboard wing and a good fingertip mark. Gee, that was a good mark by Michael Bowden.
Yeah, well cut out there.
It was, wasn't it? Chopped it out beautifully. And the kick, of course, impeccable on the left. Anderson, another left footer. Let's see how his kick is. Directed to Cockatoo. Cockatoo goes to another Cockatoo, but the ball is out of bounds on the full, and it's where the paint of 50 crosses the boundary line. So deep in defensive 50. Pint has the football. Partington across the face. Williams. Warwick Williams been good. Williams outside defensive 50. Courageous attempt there. Very, very good. Lee Peters gets the football. Oh, it's a terrible game, isn't it? And he's gone. He did everything, yeah. But there you go. The tackle was good. And
he was the only one that wanted that ball. And when he got it, somebody else wanted it.
Yeah. And just sweated on him, didn't he? And it was McQueen. But nonetheless, that's the game, isn't it? McQueen goes to the other fantastic player in Matthew Dennis. Jed Anderson working his way into the game, which is what he does. Anderson, not a big possession getter, and the ball is kicked long for the minor score. Played an interesting game. I think Stanley Waistcoat has done a couple of good things, but has done a couple of undisciplined things too, which wouldn't please the coach, but at least he's got some work to do.
Yeah, he's been hot and cold, hasn't he? He's done moments of, wow, that's good, and then others where you go, wow.
Why did he do that?
Yeah.
Yep. And the mark taken. Out the districts go by hand, which is not unusual. Back to Matthew Johnson. So his hand, he got trod on earlier, gets it in, and a mark taken. That was just pure, unadulterated strength and playing in front.
Yep. The last couple of weeks watching Southern Districts is where they're going to get the goals from today. They've found out where they're going to get them from. They've got a couple of big blokes up forward and taking some grabs, and now he's got this one certainly because he's got what we'll call 25 because that's all he needs. He's walking it right into the goal square with the 50-metre penalty, and he pops that into the pole behind the goals if you wonder why it bounced back so far.
So what should happen there is he should have taken the free kick and taken right over almost to the airport, because it only got 25 rather than 50.
We'll get 25 to start it. But that was his second goal of the game. Jared Brander and Southern Districts look really good now.
So he joins Jonathan Ross as the multiple goal scorers. Ross got one in the first, one in the second. Brander, one in the second, one in the third. And Districts once again just asserting their authority.
Yep, 10 goals, 9, 69 to 3-4, 22. 47-point lead as we're in 13 minutes into the third quarter.
Matthew Dennis, Connor McDonald. I just don't know where the spark's coming from. Stephen Motlop has done some good things in this term, but gee, he needs some more help. Up they go. Dennis it is. He just wins them all. A series of handballs. Jed Anderson onto the left foot, kicks it out. Brander overrun the football. Jonathan Ross has it. Goes a terrible handball. Jonathan Ross, but he collected his own terrible handball. Will he be held up here? Any prior for the second attempt? No, said the field umpire, and it left half forward. The ball will be tossed in the air. McDonald wins the tap against Brander. Kicked off the ground. We haven't called him all that much as Terrell Rigney. But at least the ball is at the right end of the field as far as Southern Districts are concerned. Handball out, quick kick. Didn't have time to size one up. Overtime. They've got to work overtime. To Ethan Smith. And Jake McQueen laid off the quick handball, kicked in toward goal.
And kicked it.
And nailed it. And that one, Nick.
Jake McQueen getting his first one of the day. 11-9-75 to 3-4-22. So a 53-point lead, the 15-minute mark of the third quarter here at TIO Stadium. You're watching the AFL-NT's coverage of the 23-24 TIO NTFL season from TIO Stadium here in Darwin. And a comfortable lead at the moment for the Crocs.
Well, it's more than comfortable, isn't it? It's almost unassailable from here, even though we've got a quarter and half a quarter to go.
Yeah, PINT, as I said, the biggest score they've got all year is 11 goals. I said they would have to kick their biggest score of the year. They're going to have to come back with a 9-goal-to-none fourth quarter. Obviously can't see that happening, but you've got to be very pleased with Southern Districts. They fixed that forward issue they've had for the last couple of weeks, and they might have found themselves a couple of goal scorers. And that's without too much. Bo Schwarz has a goal. Jager Cockatoo's done a little bit down there, so they've got a few players. Sort of not that Bo Schwarz is not a fringe player. He's a premiership player for Southern Districts and been a terrific player over a long period of time. And our man Rigney gets the football but loses it. Tell you who won't lose it is Nakia Cockatoo. Gets it out to the skipper. That's the best thing to do. Rigney once again, left half forward, kicks it inside forward 50, and the mark taken by Brander. Brander goes looking for Jake McQueen, and McQueen will size it up from directly in front. Man on the mark. 30 metres from goal. We'll have to kick from 35, so distance not an issue with the breeze at his back. Yep, he caught the last one. It was well done then by Brander. He's a likely player. We're going to keep an eye on him all season, but McQueen's certainly a star of the competition. He's lining up for his second in a matter of minutes. Jake McQueen directly in front. Districts 11-9. PINT 3-4. McQueen to kick on goal very deliberately. Near enough. Near enough, said the goal umpire. The two flags will come up, and that is his second goal. Yep, it's 2 goals in a matter of minutes there for Jake McQueen. 13-9 now. So 13-9. No, 12-9, sorry. I've had another goal on somewhere. Now it's 12-9, 81 to 3-4, 22. That's near enough. So that's 59 points, isn't it? It was 39 at half time. Yeah, and all even at quarter time, 14 points apiece. And since quarter time, Southern Districts have just taken control of this game and haven't stopped. And they've had the better players, haven't they? Jake McQueen's been terrific. Bo Schwarz has had plenty of it. Matthew Dennis, Mitch Pemberton from down back, and Matthew Johnston's been a tower of strength. And there's Johnston once again in the middle, in the thick of things, in the middle of the ground. He's a likely customer, isn't he? That number 6 for Southern Districts. Yeah, great player.
McDonald, but the tap was won by Dennis. Attempted kick off the ground by McDonald. Out by Thomas Motlop, but only to an opponent. Southern Districts have the footy. Mitchell Burgess. Burgess will go inside forward 50. Will he just within a millimetre inside forward 50? Matthew Johnson once again with his head over the football. Picked up terrific effort there by Jay Dalhouse. Not a big possession getter, but when he gets it, he makes the most of it. Pint wrapped up in the middle of the ground, and the field umpire will have no option but to say, give it to me, please, gentlemen. That was James Bennett, who's been one of the few shining lights for the Pointers. Matthew Dennis got a fingernail to it. Picked up that time by Elliot Chalmers. Chalmers gets the ball forward, but unrelenting. This Pint defence, Matthew Mazzini handballs and probably shouldn't have handballed it, running around like a headless chook. He's found the Rooster. The Rooster inside defensive 50 is Michael Bowden. Bowden goes on the trusty left foot looking for Dennis. Mitchell, and a series of handballs there. A terrific effort by Pint to keep it in. Thomas Motlop wrapped up. It's not Thomas Motlop. It's I think that might be down there, Stephen Motlop. At least I got the surname right.
Yeah, it was Stephen
Motlop. But the ball will be cleared. The trusty defence of Southern Districts. Mackenzie Slee. Dalhouse runs around, goes backward effectively. Taj Stanley had an option, but had a better option forward. And away they go. They don't muck around, Southern Districts. And the ball goes inside forward 50, and this might be Jager Cockatoo, or is it the big fella?
I think it's the big fella.
The big fella has two. Jared Brander. Left of centre, as I usually say, suits the right footer. Man on the mark, halfway in, so he's probably 30 metres from goal. We'll have to kick from 35, which is not an issue. Jared Brander. A goal in the second, a goal in the third. The goal umpire likes that one too. Doesn't have too far to run. And now he is the major goal scorer of the game. He has 3, but more importantly, Southern Districts, 13,987. Pint, 3,422.
And of course he got 4 last week as well, so
yes.
He's 2 games for the Crocs. He's got 7 goals in the bag, and he looks likely he could get a couple more this afternoon as well, so a big find for the club.
Well, it certainly is, and that's what they certainly needed, that. But Jonathan Ross has a couple of goals down there. He's been busy, but Jake McQueen has a couple, but he's an on-baller, of course, and picks the ball up beautifully. And Matthew Johnston hasn't kicked a goal, but by gee, he's had some football.
So 13,987 to 3,422 into time on in the third quarter.
I reckon that's the first ruck duel lost by Matthew Dennis. So Connor McDonald won that, but Southern Districts get the ball forward, and there's Jonathan Ross. Has a couple, goes forward and does it with precision. And this is the man with the blue boots. Been terrific. Jake McQueen. Directly in front.
Kicking for his third of the quarter. Nearly back to the centre circle.
Coming off the long run up. So he's going to have to kick this from 50, and the breeze is brisk. So the breeze will help him. McQueen, very deliberately, kicks from 49 and kicks it woefully.
Yeah, pushed it to the right, but just trying to get that extra distance.
Not a goal kicker, Jake. Lay it off. Give it to someone that can kick straight. As we've got Williams. Got to bring the ball back for Pint.
The umpire pushed the kicker back a metre then for him to run it forward 2 metres. So.
Yeah, I worry when they're 300 metres from his goal,
yeah.
And they're worrying about millimetres. But that's the umpire's prerogative.
Yeah, he did have a word to him on his ran past as well, but of course it was the right decision, but sometimes you just roll your eyes.
Yeah. Anyway, tossed in by the boundary umpire. McDonald has got 2 out of 2 for him. He's beaten Matthew Dennis twice. And ball on the ground in dispute. The field umpire says, "You did enough, Matthew Johnston."
Had a good day at the office at Matthew Johnston. He's played really well today.
Certainly has. Dean Staunton slides onto the football. Gets it out beautifully. Bo Schwartz on the non-preferred left. Bo! And misses to the far side. So a little bit wasteful in this term. 13-9-87 to 3-4-22. But we can't be too critical because they're leading by 11 goals.
Yeah, 66-point lead now. And as we're well into time on in the third quarter, siren should go. Not much time now.
Williams. Outside defensive 50. Lovely kick. Pint. Run the ball along the outer boundary line. Matthew Mazzini over the back for Southern Districts. Forces the ball down. Anderson lays it off by hand. Bounce running through the middle. The man with the blue boots, Jake McQueen, can't kick a goal, but can he find a forward over the back, running inside and kicking, grubbing it and rolling it through. Well done, Jonathan Ross. That's number 3 for him. So, I mean, Jake McQueen, it's a toss-up. Jake McQueen or Matthew Dennis, in my humble view, and and of course Matthew Johnston's been useful, or more than useful, hasn't he?
And I think if I was picking my best player, I think the back 6 for Southern Districts as well, because they've looked very calm and collected. I know Pint haven't gone forward very often, but when they have, they've managed to keep them well contained. Obviously, they've only got 3 goals, and they've done well, the back 6 for Southern Districts.
They've picked them off beautifully, haven't they?
Yep.
So back in the middle, Connor McDonald has won the last 2 taps against a rampant Matthew Dennis. And Dennis hasn't had a chop out. McDonald once again gets the ball down, but not to his team's advantage. Oh, pushed ahead of the contest. Series of handballs. Jed Anderson, clever. Anderson runs inside forward 50, bangs on goal. Anderson misses. That was a gimme.
I think it just clipped the post on the way past. Just at the tiny bit of the goal umpire right there to see that.
Well, that should be 3 points. We go through that. I know it's not, but we've got to give them something. Warwick Williams runs his full measure. Long kick outside defensive 50. But back inside defensive 50, only as far as Warwick Williams, who's been a tower of strength.
If he hadn't taken that, the big lad was standing behind there, Jared Brandon, waiting for it to pop over the top. But
Williams goes short. Blue boots. No, it's not. Yes, it is. So Jake McQueen can't kick a goal, but by gee, he can kick a football when he gets it, and he gets it so often.
He's lining up for his 3rd in the quarter, though. We got 2 in 2 minutes, and he's had a couple of opportunities apart from that, but he's certainly pretty keen, and there's no one gone back for him, so they're pretty comfortable. He might pop this one over.
Distance. Accuracy.
Perfect.
It's all there. Distance, accuracy. It's easy. Jake McQueen. 3 goals, all in this premiership quarter.
Absolutely. 15 goals, 11, 101. And as they say, once you hit the century, it's all over. 3-4-22. And Pint have scored 1 goal since the end of the first quarter. And have not, I think, counting, probably gone forward about 6 times in half of football.
And as you suggested earlier, 26.5 minutes in, there wouldn't be too much time left in this third term. And with a quarter to play, I mean, what does Shannon Motlop say to his troops at 3-quarter time? Let's just win the quarter.
Pretty much in this heat as well. It's going to be the pace will come out of it in the final quarter in a 33 to 32 degree day here in the top end, and I think they'll just want to win a quarter.
Lovely bounce by the field umpire. Matthew Dennis, dead heat in the middle of the ground, but the clearance is the important thing.
Kicking in danger there.
Yep, and it was too. They're just desperate. And here he is again. Jake McQueen sells the dummy, goes on the non-preferred left, player over the back. Oh, couldn't take the mark, but it looked spectacular. Ball on the ground, in dispute. Nakia Cockatoo down there, didn't win it. And Pint will work their way out. McDonald has the mark, outside defensive 50, goes inside by hand, gets the ball back further inside. Sam Kelbfell. Series of short ones, running hard, over the back. Good tackle, terrific tackle. Southern Districts, they're just all over them. Mitchell Burgess gets the ball out, and that man again, Jake McQueen. McQueen goes forward, handball, probably should have had a shot at goal, kick around the corner. Anderson, he can't find the handle. Pint will work it out. Warwick Williams, that's his first mistake for the game, but good enough to recover, had plenty of time, gets it out. Pint go forward to centre half back, bending over the football. Mazzini, and there's one of your defenders. McQueen sells the dummy. Matthew Johnson back to McQueen. McQueen right half forward, too far out to score this time. Over the back, Brander takes the mark comfortably, and will go inside to Cockatoo, and that is Jager Cockatoo.
One of the forwards who isn't on the scoreboard at the moment. He's got opportunity here as 28, nearly 29-minute mark of the third quarter. It's been a big one.
Jager Cockatoo, the teenager. There's the siren. There's your siren, Nick. Cockatoo, undeterred, runs in and misses. No. Oh, yes, it does miss,
yeah,
unfortunately. So there it is. It is three-quarter time. It is 15-12, 102 Southern Districts. Pint 3-4-22. The Pointers are lamentable. Southern Districts are just rollicking on.
Absolutely. 80-point lead here for the Crocs at three-quarter time. We'll be back with you shortly after this short break.
Kazali's Palmerston Club. Come and check out our cafe, open 7 days a week. Our kids club is open Wednesday to Sunday nights, including weekend lunchtime. Enjoy hot meals with nightly specials at the bistro or cold drinks at the sports bar. Feeling lucky? Have a go at the latest machines in our gaming lounge or grab your mates for a round of pool. Family gatherings or casual meetings, we have something for everyone. Kazali's Palmerston Club, making a difference.
Love exploring the Territory? If you do, it's good to know that with TIO Comprehensive Car Insurance, if you have an accident covered by your policy, we're here to help with the reasonable costs of towing, as well as your additional emergency accommodation and travelling costs. So get out there and explore. Get a quote today. TIO, we're for Territorians.
Welcome back to AFL NT's coverage of the 23-24 TIO NTFL season from TIO Stadium here in Darwin and Larrakia country. Round 4 action of the Men's Premier League. Southern Districts taking on PINT, and the Crocs hold an 80-point lead, Ian. And I don't think they're going to take the foot off the pedal. They look like they're running on top of the ground, and PINT have stopped.
We've had it on good authority. That's the message from the coach, the Southern Districts coach, Shannon Rusker, to keep the foot firmly pressed on the throat.
One of the things I said at the start of the game that really concerned me about Southern Districts, and I must admit I did pick PINT, I won't change my mind, but my concern about Southern Districts...
Are you having a shot at me?
is the lack of goal-scoring opportunities that they've created in the games I've seen them this season. But they've done it today. Jonathan Ross played well, has got 3. Jake McQueen's pinched 3 as well. Jared Brander, who... didn't have a great AFL career, a couple of games with the Eagles, as we know, and a couple of games with GWS, but has been great. He 4 last week and 3 this week. He looks like a likely sort and be a big player in this competition.
Yeah, and what's Shannon Motlop? Do they want to win the quarter? You know, should his defence get on top?
Oh, I just think that Crocs are going to keep the pressure up forward, which they've done since about 10 minutes into the first quarter, and they've not let PINT out. PINT have gone forward about 6 times in half of football and 3 goals for 3 quarters of footy. I don't think much is going to change.
Okay, Connor McDonald against Matthew Dennis. Dennis as close to the line as you can get without crossing the line before the ball hits the turf, but he still wins the toss. Knocked out by the skipper, Dean Staunton, and Districts... They are away. They go back by hand. District's handball has certainly reduced a little bit. They prefer the chip kick. Inside forward 50. Straight away in the mark taken. Big, strong mark. Gee, there was a high leaping mark, and that's Beau Schwarz. Has had ample opportunity, Schwarz. What's he got? Beau Schwarz has kicked a goal in the second term.
But he's had some leather poisoning. He's caught the ball a fair bit in the middle of the ground.
Yeah.
Looked really good, and there's a list of players for Southern Districts today, which always happens in results like this one.
Been a little bit unfair, but normally very reliable kick on goal. But this is going to have to be a beauty because he's kicking into the face of a breeze and he goes forward. So he's laid off the responsibility, and the ball is deep in the full forward line for Southern Districts. Probably should have had a shot for goal, but nonetheless, it's always easy to be wise after the event.
80 points up, you can afford to drop it to your big full forward and see if he takes a grab, but at least in the club room afterwards you say you gave him a chance. Yeah,
feed the forward, that's it, feed the forward, and the captain and the coach. You look after the forwards, the captain and the coach. And the ball comes out, Jonathan Ross leaves it. PINT have the football, still deep in defence. Elliot Chalmers just outside defensive 50. Harrison Marr has done some good things, but he's like a lot of his mates, he hasn't had enough of the football. Big Mazzini, Southern Districts defence. You love the Southern Districts defence. You reckon they've been fantastic all game, haven't they?
They certainly have. PINT have had very few opportunities, but when they have had the opportunities, apart from a couple of great goals, they've locked them right down.
Luke Delaney include in that. Mazzini, Delaney, Maney. Ball to be tossed in by the boundary umpire. McDonald. Dennis works his way to the front. Short handball, so Dennis doesn't ruck, but he roves that time. He just grabs the football. A lot of times he rucks and he grabs his own football. That time the ball fell to the ground, and Jager Cockatoo wrapped up his opponent and did it to great effect, forcing the field bounce by the field umpire. McDonald and Dennis once again. Dennis probably got a fingernail to that over the back. Gets the ball back, Schwarz. Schwarz goes inside forward 50. Ball on the ground, in dispute. Picked up that time by Harrison Marr. Matthew Johnston. Been terrific. Waistcoat. Kicks into to an opponent. Johnston goes by hand. Across the face of goal. Where's Brander? There he is. Just not quite quick enough. Maybe that's the issue. Nick hasn't got great pace, but for a bloke his size is about 196 centimetres. You don't have to be all that sprightly. No,
he's a big bloke. But as I said, the way they've been feeding him today, he's going to have a big year.
He was hatching the football. So ball on the ground, ball in dispute, left half forward, grandstand side for Southern Districts, lead comfortably by 80 points. Johnston rucked that time. The skipper kicks on goal in dispute, and Jager Cockatoo will rush the ball through. So that's 81 points. 3.5 coming up 4 minutes. No, it's not a score.
Just went past the post then.
Okay. So I'll be at the optometrist during the week.
I think it hit the point post as it went go through, so it's out of bounds.
Oh, near enough. It's waistcoat working hard inside. Nice to see that. Pint have got a clearance. Handball to no one in particular. Brandon Rusker, head down, nose up. Maney runs across and kicks it. Finds, finds Terrell Rigney. Rigney gets the ball out. Left foot, kick on goal. Over the back, and a nice mark taken defensively. Pint out to Thomas Motlop. Seems to have a bit of a roving commission now. Motlop goes forward, grandstand side, but it's plucked off easily, wasn't it? Mazzini running hard after the football, picked up that time by Maney inside forward 50, but thank you very much. That's the 196 centimetre useful part, isn't it?
Yeah, when you've got a little ruckman, a little rover jumping up next to you, that big and that strong, he's taken the mark.
Matthew Dennis hasn't kicked a goal, left of centre, usually reasonably reliable. Matthew Dennis to kick on goal to open the goal scoring, the chance for Southern Districts in this third term. As he curled it back, he has not. It was the in-swinger rather than the out-swinger, and the ball will be tossed to Harrison Marr to bring the ball back. I think he's a left footer, Marr. He is. Spots a player, wide, nicely done. It was Partington, outside defensive 50. Ball in dispute. Terrific effort there, running hard after the football, Brad Ryan. But the pressure put on by his Croc opponent was sufficient to see the ball out of bounds, but at least it's at the right half of the field for the Pointers, who have struggled. They've kicked 3 goals for the game, and we are 6 minutes into the final term.
He kicked that ball away when it went over the boundary. He was lucky the umpire just missed it, or else he could have...
Yeah, good observation.
He certainly was lucky there that boundary umpire let him away with it.
Yep, you're a good observation, but the field umpire is the one that gives the free kick, unfortunately, and it was the field umpire who was in error there. One of the few mistakes that the umpires have made in this game. I think they've been very good. Mind you,
they've been good.
It's been a bit one-sided.
Yeah, it has, but there's been, I don't think we've seen a deliberate out of bounds today. We haven't, the umpires have been pretty consistent and they've done a good job.
Yep, they have. So, the ball this time in Southern Districts, half of the field. Matthew Dennis took his opponent. He was taken high, and Dennis lumbers his full measure, looking for the big fella there, but intercepting was the Pint player Benjamin Smythe. Haven't called him much, but running on Nakia Cockatoo has kicked a goal. So everyone's getting into the act. I think that might be his second goal. One in the second quarter, one in the fourth quarter, and surprise, surprise, the only goal kicked in the fourth quarter is by Southern Districts, and they go further ahead.
Absolutely. They haven't put the cue in the rack, I thought. Didn't think they would, and they certainly haven't. They've kept the ball locked in their forward line. I don't think we've been up front for Pint at all in this quarter, and I said I think it's about 6 times since quarter time that Pint have had any opportunities at all. And here we sit, 16 goals, 1,309 to 3,422, and I must admit, when I got here this afternoon, I didn't expect this sort of outcome. I had a feeling that Southern District's probably a better side, but 13 goal side, I wouldn't have picked it.
Well, there you go. So I'm glad we had our tips before the game. Usually I do them after the game or on Monday when the weekend's over.
Yeah. I've watched a couple of Port Adelaide games with them, won it in the replay. I still haven't picked them. So.
But the prerogative is I can change my mind. So Not a bad bounce by the field umpire. McDonald knocks the ball down to his team's advantage, but Matthew Johnston, and that's surprise once again. Johnston will see the ball forward. Pint defence working overtime. Thomas Motlop must be perhaps a spare man in defence because they need something down there. Nick, I think you've been lamenting the Pint defence.
Yeah, no, they've had a tough day, but it's just a bit hard to stop when it's just coming forward after session after session after session, and Southern Districts are playing well and the big men are taking the grabs.
That was Andrew Jones, the chop-out ruckman. But who will clear? Jed Anderson. Anderson, been quiet by his normal standards, and a lovely mark taken in defence. Pint, left half back, favour the outer. This will be a 2-on-1, but easily swinging around, sells the dummy, goes inside, up and under. Impossible to mark for a forward. Pemberton.
Ran himself back into trouble then, but
he did indeed. But Maney, I mean, the work of the has you've also been pretty impressed with the defence of Southern Districts, and that's one of the players down there. Ethan Maney has not put a foot wrong all day.
Yeah, no, the back six for the Crocs has been outstanding today, and again, Pine haven't gone forward very often, but they've certainly controlled it when they have.
Jones and Dennis. Dennis grabs the ball, handballs effectively over the back. Just enough to get the ball out. Did not swing the foot, so no kicking in danger. High tackle there, but Southern Districts are just so disciplined. It's easy to be disciplined when you're so far in front, I suppose, Nick.
Yep.
Districts go forward once again. Oh, clean bowled. That's his first mistake all game as Jake McQueen. He was clean bowled there. Lucky he's not playing the World Cup in cricket because he'd be out for a quacker. And the ball in dispute, coming back. Brody Motlop. Haven't called him much.
There was 5 Pint players there all loose, and he picked the Crocs player out.
Matthew Johnston. Johnston goes wide. Picks up a teammate out there in Taj Stanley. Another one of the unsung heroes. Stanley forward toward the big fella. Just couldn't quite find the handle. Waistcoat grabbed, taken high and dumped. Yep. And Stanley Waistcoat will kick on goal. Now let's see how he goes here, because as a small forward, when you get the footy and when you get a free kick, when you're in scoring distance, you've got to nail it.
Yeah, this should be in his wheelhouse here. Should be able to pop this one over the top. He's kicked one already today. He's been hot and cold, but when he's looked good, he's looked really, really good. Waistcoat has, and here's his opportunity to put his second on the board.
His attack on the footy was good there and deserved the free kick. Yep. It was a warranted free kick. Waistcoat moves in, kicks on goal, and the goal umpire did not move 1 millimetre, and that's his second goal, as you suggested. He kicked a goal, and that was in the second term, so he's got 1 in the second, 1 in the fourth term, 2 goals kicked in the final term, both by Southern Districts, and they extend their lead. And that just goes on and on and on.
I think he's done enough today to keep his name on selection table for next week. He's looked pretty good.
Yeah, but when I look at some of the players that are not playing, that are on the emergency list for Southern Districts, Sam Smith, Matt Duffy, Roy George, and Jack Palmer's another one. So they've got a bit of quality hanging around, ready to go.
Well, as I said, a few minutes into the final quarter of last year's grand final, they hit the front, and the Waratah side just kicked the last 3 to get over the top of them. So they are a good side. And, of course, at the top of the ladder last year.
They were minor premiers, you're quite right. Matthew Dennis, once again, gets the ball. Jed Anderson. Kicked out Southern Districts into attack. 2-on-1. Run they go. Anderson inside. Lovely kick. And did it well to Matthew Johnston. Johnston spots a player out wide again. Further. Brandon Rusker. In he goes. Couldn't take the mark. He's not looking for a Brander all that much. Prefer the shorter option. But Pint have some work to do. Stephen Motlop. Out. Good kick. But everyone waited except Matthew Dennis. Dennis got the football, but unfortunately out of bounds, and the ball is out of bounds, but still in the right half if you're talking Southern Districts.
17 goals, 1,355 to 3,422. 13-minute mark of the final quarter.
So that's halfway through the term, Nick, and I can't see my team getting beaten.
No, I think you're right here in the box seat.
Here we go, ball forward. Districts, bang it further forward. Lovely kick in there by Stanley. The Stanley seamer, Jed Anderson, probably waited when he should have attacked the football, but attacked the man instead and gave away the free kick. Thomas Motlop. He must be playing in defence, Motlop. Jacob Maloney, outside defensive 50. Jager, cockatoo on the mark. Maloney, one of the many left footers playing. Favours the grandstand side. Ball in dispute, out of bounds. On the wing, Ethan Maney, one of the unsung heroes.
He just couldn't get the handle of that ball. He was ready to go. He knew what he wanted to do with it when he got it. He just could not find the handle. And as he heads back into defence, he's played a great game today.
He has. Boundary umpire does his work. Nice one. Nice and high. Good contest. Over the back. Surprise, surprise. Matthew Dennis gets it out to the one with the blue boots, and he's lost possession.
He tried to beat three of them, then he was always going to be in trouble. But
yeah, warranted free kick.
Go,
warranted free kick. But could afford to lair ice when your team's 80 points in front. So, Southern Districts over the football. Another one of those fantastic defenders, Mitchell Burgess. Jed Anderson only had 3 to beat there. Ball on the ground. It's Stephen Motlop lurking. Smothered off the boot. The man with the blue boots made a mistake, but he's certainly overcome that. Kicked it inside forward 50. Over they went. Inside to the skipper. Brander can't take the mark. Ball on the ground. The small forward. There he goes. Jonathan Ross has it and took the mark. I reckon they'll pay that. They will pay it. Left of centre. Man on the mark. 30 metres from goal. Distance not an issue.
Yeah, Jonathan Ross out the back then all by himself. If it passed him in a little bit better, he could have just turned around and walked that one in. But he's going to shoot from here, and he's aiming for his 4th of the day.
Can become the top goal kicker on the day. Opened with a goal inside a minute, the first minute of play in that first quarter. Jonathan Ross, a noted goal kicker, kicks on goal and kicks woefully. Just made it inside to the far side, the minor score. Thomas Motlop goes back to bring the ball back into play. So some soul searching to do for the Pinters.
2 goals, 2 for Southern Districts this quarter, and Pint have not touched the scoreboard at all in this final quarter, so it won't be a long one. We're into the 16th minute mark of the final quarter here.
Motlop goes short to Marr. Pint have it, but they'll give it up. Mr. Blue Boots, Jake McQueen, lays it off by hand. Forward they go, and Waistcoat will take the mark. Thank you very, very much. Almost in the goal square. The slightest of angles, but he only has to traverse 10 metres.
Yep, he did that very well. Used the body check extremely well. Kicking for his 2nd of the quarter and his 3rd for the game. And they've got a lot of multiple goal kickers, Southern Districts. When you win by this much, that's what happens. But that's his 3rd, and I said earlier, got his name on the team sheet for next week, and a 3rd one doesn't hurt at all.
So he joins Jonathan Ross, Jake McQueen, Jared Brander, and now Stanley Waistcoat, all 3 goal kickers for Southern Districts.
Yeah, and as I said, they most concerned about Southern Districts is who would score the goals for him, and they've certainly done some training, and they've certainly fixed it. 100-point lead now, 18-14, 122 to 3-4-22. 17-minute mark of the final quarter, and a 100-point lead. 100.
That'll make Shannon Motlop smile. Shannon Rusker, I'm sorry. Everyone's a Shannon.
Yeah.
I'm sure Shannon Motlop will bring tears to his eyes. Back in the middle, and has not spent time on the pine at all, or even resting. Matthew Dennis, and wins the tap once again. And his team, they might not get the clearance. They don't. Pint get the clearance, but only as far as one of the fantastic defenders, Mitchell Burgess. Burgess out to Jake McQueen. He's worn out those blue boots. They'll have to get him a new pair of blue boots next week. McQueen rolls it inside forward 50. Tried to bump their Waistcoat instead of tackle. And, of course, Pint will probably clear the ball, but it'll only go as far as McQueen. McQueen goes inside to Rigney. Rigney to Cockatoo. Waistcoat rolls it through. That's his number 4.
3 goals in the final quarter.
Goodness me.
And of course, PINT play their first home game next week on Friday night. They take on at St Mary's at DXC Arena. Always a good crowd there, and it's a great environment to go along. So they'll be looking to bounce back. And Southern Districts at Norville, they'll take on Palmerston on Saturday. So Southern Districts will be pretty confident. And of course, PINT with the home game always play well at home. But 19-14, 128 to 3-4-22 as we approach the 19-minute mark of the final quarter.
And sorry, Nick, but 2 of those goals were in that first quarter.
Yep.
So they've kicked 1 goal. If I do the sum correctly, 2 + 1 is 3. So they've got 1 goal in almost 3 quarters of footy.
Yeah, they kicked the first 2 in the first quarter, 2 good goals. They didn't kick another one until the third quarter, and it was a bit of a scrappy goal. They've had a couple of opportunities, but they've scored 1 goal since half-time and no points. So this quarter in real trouble.
McDonald won the tap in the middle, which is a rare feat. But who roved the football? Matthew Dennis. Gets it probably a bare 15 metres. And Dean Staunton, skipper, gets it back to Dennis. Dennis will go wide again. Matthew Johnston. Johnston has a bounce after running a metre. Johnston goes forward to Waistcoat. Can he get 5? 5 on debut.
Bag.
It'd be all right, wouldn't it? A handful.
He lines up. This has been about his range all day. He's kicked a couple in the square, but lining up for 5. He'll be very happy if he pops this one over, and it'll be the 20th goal for Southern Districts.
Nice round number. Matthew Stanley Waistcoat, within kicking distance, certainly leans back and pushed it to the right-hand side. The minor score. Had a big chance. Thomas Motlop started up forward and started effectively the game. I thought he was okay.
Yeah.
Motlop to bring the ball back. That's Thomas.
We're into time on 107-point lead to Southern Districts.
Motlop clears defensive 50. Does it nicely. PINT on the burst. Inside they go. Good mark taken there. Partington. Inside forward 50. A rare feat for Southern Districts, but 1 handball. Goes to Schwarz. Schwarz runs his full measure. Runs outside defensive 50. Spots up a player out wide. That's Matthew Dennis.
Couldn't miss him.
Dennis goes to Matthew Johnston. Johnston inside forward 50. Ball on the ground. Ball in dispute. The big man bang down there, but running hard, running long. Curling around Southern Districts, Jed Anderson. There's about 3 here. Raffle it, boys. Running onto the football, and they missed. Well, they mucked it up, didn't they? They had plenty of chances, but nonetheless, I suppose when you're over 100 points ahead, you can afford to be in party mode.
Yeah, they've certainly not put anything away this quarter. They've decided to keep the foot down fairly hard, and PINT's just got no answer at all.
And that was the instruction from Rusker, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
To put, keep the foot on the throat. And once again, the 1 grabbers. That was a bad miss that time by Peters.
And of course, it's a tight competition. Percentage can make a lot of difference towards the end of the season when you've got those top 4 or 5 sides last year. I mean, I think PINT were kept out of the finals on percentage. So
yep.
It does. If you've got an opportunity like today, you've got to take it.
My word, you do. Tossed in by the boundary umpire. Districts in attack. Chelcraft, been all right. Forward they go, and a big strong mark. Yeah, it was a good mark. Deep in defence. Inside defensive 50. Kicked it to a 2-on-1. Is he good enough to get it out? 1 handball. Now outside defensive 50. Centre half back, PINT to clear the football. Can they get a goal to finish this game off? Bennett. Goes inside forward 50. Man in front. Can't take the mark. Hung on to Matthew Mazzini. Southern Districts defence. Kicked off the ground and a goal. So that player,
Brad
Ryan kicked the ball off the ground, and it was probably the only way they were going to get the goal.
You can give the Southern Districts defence a bit of leeway there. As I said, it was a bit of scrappy one. It dropped to the ground. He just put his toe through it and knocked it through. And that's their 4th goal and their first goal since three-quarter time.
23 minutes gone. Do you think it's a 102-point lead to Southern Districts?
So we've had
nice,
5 goals this quarter, so we wouldn't have much more to go. With the second quarter was a fairly long one, but you'd have to think it's a couple of minutes, and that's about it.
So 19-16, 130 to 4-4-28. Pint have kicked a goal. 2 goals in the first quarter, 1 in the third and 1 in the last quarter. Nothing in the second quarter. Matthew Dennis does it as you like. Kicked off the ground. Districts go forward once again. They'll go by hand. Rigney gets it in by hand. Inside forward 50. They've broken inside again. Jonathan Ross puts some pressure on. Dean Staunton tries to smother in the middle of the ground. Over the top. Everywhere, they're just not giving up, are they, Districts? They are keeping the foot on the throat, which is the instruction from Rusker. Schwarz in front, Jonathan Ross.
Lining up for his 4th. He's played it off, though.
Not sure why. Well, I suppose it was to the skipper. You'll get a game next week. And he goes short. So this is Dalhouse. Not a big possession winner. We keep saying that, and he isn't a big possession winner, but he's a classy player. When he gets the football, he usually does something with it, something effective. So he has a chance to get himself on the scoreboard. So Jay Dalhouse to kick on goal. The right footer suits him, and he's missed.
He's clipped the post on the way past.
Well, that was a bit silly of him.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? So
Motlop's had plenty of it, but I don't count these as possessions. He's bringing the ball back into play again. Giving some instruction. Goes inside forward 50, but his teammate let him down. Handball out. Jed Anderson picks the ball up, does it, and Thomas Motlop will take the mark deep in defence.
It's a bit of kick to kick at the moment as we come into the 25th minute mark of the final quarter. Can't be much left now.
Motlop. Outside defensive 50, favouring the grandstand side. Picked up Pint. That's Chelcraft. Been okay all game. Pint worked the ball forward. Inside they go by hand. Can they get another one? Over the back. McQueen seems to be playing down back a little bit now. Michael Bowden hasn't had much to do, has he?
He's done
look at that. Brandon Rusker takes the mark on the wing. Grandstand side. In they go. Schwarz. Handball once again. Inside by hand. Big Dennis runs to 50. Spots Waistcoat, and Waistcoat now has the chance to get a handful.
Picked out well there. That was well played by Southern Districts right away from McQueen. Got the ball all the way down the line. All their big stars got onto it, and they dropped it into Waistcoat to line up for his 5th on the siren. As he lines it up now.
So Stanley Waistcoat has 4 to kick on goal. Man on the mark. 40 metres from goal. Kicks and kicks truly. He does kick truly. He has 5, but 4 of those came in the last quarter. So that's it. The final score. Well done.
Yeah, 19-17, 131 to 5-14-34. 109-point win to Southern Districts. Your goal kickers for today?
Yeah, the goal kickers today. Well, let's start with Stanley Waistcoat. He got 5. 3 to Jared Brander, 3 to Jake McQueen, 3 to Jonathan Ross, a brace to Nakia Cockatoo, and the rest singles for Southern Districts. Dean Staunton, Bo Schwarz, Jed Anderson, Mitch Pemberton. I hope that adds up to 19. And all singles for the Pinters. 1 to Thomas Motlop in the first quarter. Brad Ryan got 1 in the last quarter, Matt Ryan in the first quarter, and the third quarter goal to Stephen Motlop, so that's their 4 goals. Not a very good performance. 19-17, 131. 109-point win to Southern Districts. Pint 4-4 28.
And your best on grounds? There's a heap for Southern Districts.
Yeah, look, I thought that the Jake McQueen, the man with the blue boots, probably just outdid Matthew Dennis. He was fantastic. Mitch Pemberton down back was fantastic. Beau Schwarz got a lot of the football, and I liked Matthew Johnston's game. For the Pinters, better players there. Jai Chelcraft was good. Sam Kelfell was very good. James Bennett did some good work, and Warwick Williams down back was a lone hand.
Right, 20 goals, 17, 137 to 4-4-28. Southern Districts defeated Pine. It's been a pleasure to host you this afternoon. My name is Nick Danks. I was joined by Ian Butterworth. Ian, thanks for being with us. Tune in next week for round 5 action of AFLNT. But up after this game, Nightcliff take on the Tiwi Bombers. And don't forget, tomorrow, 4 o'clock, Wanderers take on St Mary's here at TIO Stadium. Thanks for joining us.